Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We're live from Los Angeles. This is your host, Young Brando. We're going to be covering today live from Geneva the Only Watch auction, the 10th edition of the charity auction that has come under some disrepute, that has been under some controversy in the last year or so. Um, since then, they have introduced some transparency to the matter, but it wasn't really anything that could allay the concerns of some of their most long-standing skeptics. Um, you can take a look at my coverage of the whole debacle on the channel, and I will specifically post the link for my interview with Periscope, who, of course, has been the perennial gadfly on the horological industry for quite some time, and he has uh, really picked apart a lot of the problematic aspects of the Only Watch auction, the foundation behind it, and whether they live up to some of the promises they make to the public. Um, so, with that being said, really having pointed out that a lot of people's misgivings are really not resolved, we just have to look at this as a biannual event. It does happen every 2 years, where the horological industry comes together to really show some of their best, to uh, give you examples of a lot of times aesthetic innovation, because there's very little of anything new under the sun, as you guys know, horologically, but at times also interesting watches from a technical standpoint, of which we have a few examples here. The official live stream has not gone live just yet, so we are still waiting. I'm also checking on my phone to see if there are any updates from the floor. But thank you for being here as well. Morning, Janam. Nice to see you, bro. Nice to see you, man. The finishing on the Patek Sonnerie Only watch is very good. Many internal angles on the anglage. The flanqué dial is perfect. Yeah, why don't we take a look at that while we're still waiting? And that's been, by the way, perhaps one of the silver linings, because there are a few brands that have pulled out, as you guys know, that have withdrawn their watches. And that was how the House of Cards started coming together when this thing was going to happen last year, because a lot of brands like Audemars Piguet and like many others later have basically withdrawn their support of the event by withdrawing the watches that they have given up for auction. Patek had sent out with the exhibition, of which I had the chance to visit on the leg in Los Angeles, just an inscribed case back, and that was basically an anniversary watch for Philipp Stern, for the president emeritus, you might say, of Patek. And it was, it was a great gift for his birthday, for his 85th birthday. But it was also a kind of watch that seemed to me deeply personal and that really didn't have much reason to exist on a platform like this. So this was initially the watch that uh, Patek had contributed to the endeavor. And I think both because of the way it was presented, because of the way the whole reveal was drawn out to coincide with a date that was closer to the auction, and also coincided with the big Scorpio, with Philipp Stern's birthday. That was a watch that was now replaced with the Patek that, let's see, the lot number was 32 in this case. That's the other confusing aspect, because some lot numbers are changed now from when they were first revealed in 2023. And this piece, in many ways, which has a pre-auction estimate that's set between 1.5 million to 1.8 million in Swiss francs, is more in line with the kinds of watches that Patek Philippe had previously contributed to the Only Watch. A lot of times they will have Grand Complication pieces that are rendered as a one-of-a-kind version, usually in stainless steel, and this is very much the case here. It's 6301A, which is Grande et Petite Sonnerie and a minute repeater, and has that incredible flanqué dial, which is, let's say in layman's terms, uh, an engine turned dial that is finished in enamel. And the color is really beautiful. The indices are very subtly rendered in baguette cut diamonds. Of course, the double uh, power reserve indicators there. At 9 o'clock, you have the power reserve for the movement. And at 3 o'clock, the power reserve for the chiming functions. Here's the movement, which is, of course, exhibited through a sapphire crystal, deep, wide Geneva stripes, and with the classic touch of Patek, which is that Calatrava cross cover over here. Turtle Knight. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. $2.99. Australian. Apes. When's the auction starting? It is supposed to start at 2. As far as I can see now from the floor, I don't think it has started just yet. But their live stream has not gone live yet, still waiting. And we're waiting with, along with, I think, 250 some people. But we can, in the meantime, pull up watches that you would like to see. I'm going to actually just share with you some of the pieces that I previewed in a hands-on way, and that I've also shared more recently on my Instagram profile. I don't know if you're following me there. It's very simple, at young.brando. And these were some of my favorites from the preview. This is the Jarajanta revival piece that is going to be lot number 16 today in the newly rescheduled 10th edition. Since it's a chiming watch, I thought it's best to listen first. As you might know, Jarajanta, the brand, has been basically relocated, switched over to Louis Vuitton. Of course, it's been within their holdings, so to speak, within the LVMH Moet Chandon, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton holdings for a while, since they held and are still holding Bulgari. The brand has now been switched over to Louis Vuitton, and it is directed under the auspices of La Fabrique du Temps, which are led by the master watchmakers Michel Navas and Enrico Barbazzini. And this is a watch that basically brings together two complications that have been perennially associated with the brand, with the name Jarajanta, the jump hour with the retrograde minutes, as well as the chiming function, the minute repeater, and it marries them with an octagonal case design by Janta himself, a design that had been heretofore unrealized. I have just received a video that shares with me the delay that's been experienced. I don't know what the reason is so far, but they're about 20 minutes behind schedule. I would like to think it's a grand gesture by someone, although that may just be wishful thinking. The other thing, of course, that this watch brings together, okay, we're live. Let's go. Let's go share this from the floor. I like this literal countdown with the ticking of a mechanism behind. We're going to start with lot one, which is a watch by Angelus or Angelus in collaboration with Chateau Angelus, Bordeaux wine. And it has that distinctive color on its dial, a unique dial for this chronodate gold that is made from freeze-dried wine lees off this Saint-Emilion Estates 2022 vintage. The piece has an estimated value set between 50,000 to 60,000 in Swiss francs.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm so happy to open this year and with you all the 10th edition of Only Watch. Thank you for coming, for being here, and for contributing to a cause that is so important to so many across the world. The association that organizes this fundraiser was founded by parents, amongst which mine, Luc and Monique, soon after my brother's diagnosis with a not so rare disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy back when he was 4 years old, a disease on which in 2001 there was very little knowledge and definitely no cure. The diagnosis changed my family's life. Like thousands of parents around the globe every day who receive such news, ours had to face a new reality, forcing them into resilience and a strength that they perhaps did not suspect they had. If you want to read more about that, there's a book written by Adrien, who is Pascal's son and Alice's brother, which is put on the tables. You have a few copies, and it's very interesting to see on the perspective of a Duchenne boy. Um, Amongst other things, our parents created this project as a part of their way of coping, of being part of the solution. And the association was born to give more means to efforts on research, to create hope, and participate tangibly in finding therapies and solutions for patients. Over the years, it saw many forces come together, particularly you, the watch industry, and the watch lovers, that allowed it to become what it is today, a truly meaningful contribution to research on therapies for Duchenne and related genetic diseases. With the funds collected on Only Watch, the association was able to create its own drug development programs. And Sky Therapeutics, the biotech that we created, and that has been our main beneficiary in the past years, is in the process of a clinical testing for a therapeutic solution. Phase one is now almost complete, and we are ready and so eager to move on to the next phase and see results in patients. Only Watch helps also the work of a whole new generation of researchers. Some of the funds raised today will go to funding doctoral grants, hospital research, and more on all things related to Duchenne. You might have seen a few examples on the screen behind while you were waiting. Thank you for your patience. By extending our help to a wide array of determined scientists, we aim to promote a deeper understandings on the roots of Duchenne, on how to alleviate the lives of patients, and hopefully extend beyond this one disease into the realm of rare genetic diseases. It is heartwarming to see how a family's life challenge has become such a collective endeavor. Thank you. You right here are what power these leaps of progress that are currently being made. I'm very grateful for this 10th edition of Only Watch. particularly meaningful to us because it comes to conclude a moment in the history of the AMM which has prompted us to move on to a bigger and brighter one. Once again, I want to thank you personally and on behalf of the families, scientists, the beneficiaries for what your presence represents. You are making a change. A most sincere thank you to our team and our partners who move mountains every day to make this ambitious project a reality. Dear Luc, the floor is yours.
Of course, they are making the introduction to the event in the way that they deem uh, proper by highlighting the charity function and
Thank you, Tess,
the
and good afternoon
personal
to you all.
and historical
If I
backgrounds.
summarize what our managing director
That
just
was
said,
Tess Petavino.
since day
And
one,
this
the
is
main goal of
his.
our
This is her
nonprofit
father.
is to become a key actor to change the fate of a yet to be cured fatal disease. And for this, I want to thank you all here and all over the world, as we were and we are able to create beauty to do good in the most empathic and friendly way. The reality of Duchenne muscular dystrophy is young people fighting and coping daily with a difficult condition with so much courage and happy drive. We've seen that with our dear son, Paul. It's also realizing that their life expectancy is more or less one third of ours. I want to dedicate this auction to those who fight and to those who have left us since the last edition. Hundreds of them, amongst whom our dear friend Philippe Ferrerol and Adrien Ferret lately. As you all know, our Monaco Chief of State is a strong supporter of our action since day one. And I have a message he asked me to read to you today. Dear Only Watch community, dear friends, as you all know, this 10th edition of Only Watch was rescheduled. The new date, having been validated recently, it overlapped with previous commitments, and I regret not being able to be with you in person today, celebrating the hope for a therapy on an implacable disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. May all of you who support this cause be thanked. You have collectively made Only Watch grow and thrive to become a shining example that interests and competences can be aligned to achieve both extremely ambitious and resolutely virtuous goals. As research has made leaps of progress in 20 years, the AMM has brought a significant contribution to the field, and it is greatly thanks to Only Watch to you all. A success that I wish upon many other causes on which the world needs to see communities coming together with sincere and determined energies to overcome issues and achieve sizable progress for the sake of humankind and the planet. I have attended the nine previous editions of Only Watch, and I know how the atmosphere is so special. I wish I was there with you. May your bids be successful, may your generosity shine and inspire others, and may you all feel the satisfaction of doing a good deed. Thank, thank you all for your unwavering support, and best of luck to all participants for this special edition, and inside Albert Grimaldi. Just before giving the floor to the ultra-talented, the one and only Raoul Kadakia, let me thank you, Maître Christin, for your very kind help, and I let you share with our audience the conditions of sale. To conclude, one last word to say to you all, from me, a Monaco citizen, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines, the race is about to begin, and we will all be winners. Thank you.
In the meantime, I have just dropped the link for
Madame,
my.
Monsieur, bonjour. Je vous rappelle très brièvement les conditions de la vente.
Uh, I've dropped a link for my previous coverage of the 2023 debacle, which led us to this moment, which led to the postponement and really initially the cancellation of the event uh, due to the questions raised by the collectors community, which I think was actually an important moment again, it's really up in the air at this point whether the transparency that they have introduced uh, did anything to answer the questions, did anything to allay the concerns of some of the long-standing critics of the foundation specifically behind this event. So I'm focusing on it today primarily with an interest in the watches, because there are some very interesting, very striking examples that I previously shared here on YouTube in a hands-on format, and I've also shared on Instagram. But let's go back to the floor and listen from the auctioneer.
We start with lot number 1 then, the Angelus.
This is the Angelus piece. Angelus is a brand today that is held by
Here it is,
Citizen.
great bottle of wine that's also going to be included with the lot to match the dial, which is made of freeze-dried wineless.
The dial itself is made from freeze-dried wine of 2022 vintage, of which a bottle is apparently included in the lot.
Here it is, 30,000 francs. Do we have 30,000? At 30,000 francs. 35,000 this side at 35,000 francs now. Nick has it for 35,000 francs. At 35,000 francs. On my right on the desk here. At 35,000 francs. At 35, 40,000 now. 45,000. At 45,000 francs. Remy, come back to me. For 45 sitting here. At 45,000 francs. 50,000, 50 000, 55 000, 55,000. At 55,000 francs now. For 55,000 francs. Come back to me, Remy. 55. At 55, 60,000 now, 60 000, 65,000, here it is, at 65,000 francs, pour 65 000 francs. Encore Rémi au téléphone, 65, at 65,000 francs, 70,000, no more, at 70 then, 70 000 now, holding on the telephone left for 70,000 francs. Any more in the room? In London, for 70,000 francs, the bid is here on my left with Remy from Dubai.
We have already
70,000
went over the estimate,
70,000 francs,
which was
thank you. Lot number
60,000.
2 now is the Artia in purity Moissanite.
So it was sold for 7.
Lot 2, the beautiful Artia with faceted Moissanite, and we can start here at 26,000, at 26,000 francs, 28,000 now, 28 000, 30 000 francs, 30,000 we have, at 30,000
Hey,
francs.
JB.
With me, at 30,000 francs. Encore dans la salle, 30 000 for 30,000 francs, 32 000, 35 000. Thank you, Dimitri, 38 000, 40 000, at 40,000 now. Keep going, at 40,000 francs, pour 40 000 francs, if you like.
Estimate for this piece was 40,000 to 50,000 Swiss francs.
Here it is with Ellie at 42,000 francs now. Keep going, sir. 45,000 in the room. 45 000 at 45,000 francs. For 45,000 francs, Ellie, come back to me. 45 000. 48,000, 48 000. No more. Thank you, sir, for your bid in the room. 48 is holding left now. At 48,000 francs. Pour 48 000. Encore 48 000 dans la salle. At 48,000 francs now. London coming in for 48,000 francs. Bid is here left. At 48, 48 000. 50,000 just in time. At 50,000 francs. Remy, would you like 55? Thank you, sir. Holding right again for 55,000. At 50, sorry. 50,000 is your bid, sir. At 50 in the room on the aisle. To my right. At 50, 55,000. This time really out. Thank you, sir. 55 then. Here it is on the left. 55, 55 000, je la juge. Selling 55,000. Sold with you. Thank you, paddle. 865 for 55,000.
55,000, again, slightly
Lot
over the
three
estimates.
Now. Lot 3 now is the Atelier de Chronometrie, ADC 30.
Lot number 3 is one of the striking time-only pieces presented in this auction, made by the Barcelona
Lot 3 with
based
the two-tone sandwich dial in 18-karat rose gold. We have 50,000
house,
francs to start the
Atelier
auction.
de
How
Chronometrie.
much?
The estimated
100,000,
value
150. You
of
are
the
bid
watch
110,000, sir.
before the
Please,
auction
14
was
now.
set
In the
between
room,
50 to
110 is your bid. At
70,000
110.
in Swiss francs.
115. 115,000. 120 000.
And as you can see, the interest in the
115.
piece
Here on the telephone.
really
Waiting for you, sir.
testifies to the strength
With the
of
lovely pink
independently
jacket in the room.
produced
115 000.
time-only
Not for you yet, sir.
watches
Try 120.
still today in the markets, especially
No.
when it's
Thank you for the bid
made
then. There's more watches here.
by an
115
independent
still
brand.
holding. Any more this side? At 115,000, 115 000. Remy coming in? At 115. Holding with Matthew, waiting for Remy. 115, 115. 120,000. Is that Estelle? No. Kim? 115 is still holding here.
Still at 115,000 Swiss francs for this beautiful
For
white gold piece
115,000.
with
Not your bid on this telephone, Kim.
a
Against you,
very
Remy. Bid is here with Matthew. I'll sell it.
striking two-tone dial,
115,000.
sandwich dial that
115
combines 18-karat pink gold.
115 then. No more. Selling it this side then. All done in the room.
And
Dernière chance dans la salle pour 115 000 francs. 115 000.
gray.
Adjugé 115 000 au numéro 826. Lot numéro 4. Lot number 4 now. This is the Baltic. The Baltic. 115 000 francs. 115 000. Adjugé 115 000 au salle pour 115 000. 1,000. 115. 115 then. No more. Selling it this side. Lot 4. The
Lot
compact and complete
3 was sold for 115,000. The Atelier
20,000,
Chronometrie.
22,000, 25,000 now at 25, 28, sir.
The Baltic is again one of the revelations of this auction, if you ask me, because it comes from a brand that was previously considered, quote unquote, a micro brand, but it's a beautifully complicated and perfectly legible perpetual calendar with a moon phase indicator. There's another one of those that I really like that is yet to come, but the Baltic piece is a very good sign of things to come from this French-based brand that's aiming for a different segment, for a more complicated segment
No
now.
more. For 55 then. Bertol has it at 55,000 francs. Are we all done this side? For 55,000. 55 000. Je l'adjuge au téléphone. Selling it now for 55,000 francs. 55 000. Bertol with you. Sold to paddle number 830. 55,000. Thank you.
55,000 francs.
Lot number
for
5
lot
is
4.
the Barbier Mulier.
Lot 5 is Barbier Müller. You can basically think of it as a very ornate, very unique execution of a chronomètre Sauvron, but that would be simplifying things. This is only the second time that FB Jean's caliber 1304, which is of course used for chronomètre Sauvron and chronomètre Bleu, has been extended beyond the manufacturer, and it is in collaboration with a long-standing friend and collector of the brand, Stéphane Barbier Müller.
Thank you, sir. You should be closer to me. At 150, the bid is here. 160,000. At 160. 200,000. 220,000. 40.
The ceiling of the pre-auction estimate was 250,000, a quarter million in Swiss francs.
240 in the back.
240.
One more? No more. Thank you very much.
At 240
Keep your
now.
attention on me. Only me. 240 then. There it is at 240,000. Michael, you have it there in the back. Selling it. All done for 240. Telephones, London, you're all out in the room at 240,000. 240,000 in the room and selling 240,000. Sold to paddle number 36.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I think this was one of the most
Lot
aesthetically
number
pleasing
6 is now
pieces
the
in
next
the
lot.
auction.
Lot number 6, we'd like you to note that VAT will be charged on this lot on the hammer price. This is the Bell & Ross, the Cyber Rainbow.
Lot number 6 is the Bell & Ross BR03 Cyber Rainbow.
Lot 6 then, 40,000 right away at 40,000 francs. 45,000, 50,000, I have 55,000, 55 mille at 55,000 francs for this beautiful rainbow. 55,000 francs, the colors of Only Watch. 55,000.
For the 10th edition, the colors have been decided to replicate all the colors of the rainbow.
55,000 at 55,000 francs.
So there are many watches that echo
Holding with an absentee buyer, someone who couldn't be with us here today,
of
at
the rainbow,
55,000 francs. I'm selling all
like
done
this
for
Bell & Ross.
55,000 francs. Last chance, Matthew. 55,000 at 55. Sold 55,000 francs to panel 503.
Sold for 55,000 francs, which was in fact the ceiling of the pre-auction estimate. Which, by the way, seems to be a theme. Lot number 7 is actually an example of the anniversary edition of the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, a unique piece with a blue dial of the 70th anniversary.
For 30, 32,000, 35,000, 35 mil. At 35, 38,000, 40,000 now. Ahead of you, Estelle, 45,000. At 45,000 francs, Estelle's bid. At 45,000 francs on my right. For 45,000. Encore, this side of the room for 45. At 45,000 francs. Holding on my right, Estelle for you. For 45,000 francs. This side, 45,000. Bidding? At 45,000, not your bid here, still with Estelle for 45,000 francs. At 45, to my right, for 45,000 francs. Encore dans la salle, 45 mille. At 45 then, this side, here it is, at 45,000 francs. Now selling 45,000, all done, 45,000 francs. Bidding in London then, at 50, no, at 45 then, still ahead of you, 45 is here. Still here on my right, 45,000 francs. Last chance London if you like. It is here to my right at 45. All through? 45 then. Estelle has it. 45,000 francs. Sold to paddle 858, 45,000.
45,000 francs. The pre-auction estimates was between 20 to 30,000 in Swiss francs. But I think this is a testament. Again, it wasn't a particularly spectacular piece. It's just a stainless steel version of the 70th anniversary Blancpain 50 Fathoms with a blue dial.
Now the Beauvais, the Orbis Mundi. And we'll start here at 30,000, 30 mille. At 50,000, thank you, Julien. 50 mille, 55. 55,000, 60,000, 65,000, 70,000, 75 mille. 90 000, 90,000. At 90,000, Julian. Remy, 90 there. 110,000, 100 000. At 110,000. Pour 110 000.
It's really a
Encore
beautiful
Julien. 110 000, bastard.
Guilloche
110, then the
dial
bid is here left, ahead of you all.
in
At
a
110,000
magenta shade.
on my left. 110 000 Jela Juge selling for 110. All done in the room.
Of
110,000
Beauvais
francs. 110 000. Sold to
World
paddle
Timepiece.
844.
Orbis Mundi,
for 110, all done in the room. Lot number 9 now.
sold for 110. Another world timepiece coming up at lot 9, which is a very striking example of the Breguet Marine
And for the
Aura
Breguet, the
Mundi,
Marine Horamundi, 30,000 francs, 30,000.
which allows you to instantaneously change the display of time zones. Very unique to this particular example.
At 50,000 francs, 50,000 for 50,000 francs left. At 50,000 francs.
So we are looking at a watch that doesn't simply offer a different color of the dial in this case.
50,000 francs. Try one more, sir. At 60,000 francs, 65,000, 65,000. At 65,000 francs now. For 65,000, Remy. 65,000, Alex has it. For 65,000 francs.
The pre-auction estimate was set between 70 to
70,000.
80,000
on the telephone, 75,000. At 75,000 francs now.
So we are already
For
within that
75,000.
range at 75,000 francs.
75,000 francs. Remy, would you like 80? 75 still with Alex. No more this side. At 75, 75,000. For 75,000 then. Last chance, Remy. For 75,000 francs. Try one more. At 75 then. 75,000. No more 75. Alex, it's yours then. For 75,000 francs. All through in the room here. 75, 75,000. 75,000. Sold with Alex to pedal number 807.
So the example of Breguet Marine Aura Mundi 5555 was sold for 75,000. Lot number 10 was for me again an interesting highlight in the auction. This very impressive execution of the Octofinissimo Flying Tourbillon that takes after the green marble interiors that Bulgari considers a particular expression of their approach to luxury.
At 95,000, 95,000 francs is left with Alex for 95. In the room at 95,000 francs. Here it is for 95,000 francs. On the telephone with Alex, 95,000 for 95,000. Here it is at 95. Telephones this side.
The pre-auction estimate, by the way, was fairly ambitious on this one, set within the range between 150,000 to 250,000, up to 250,000 in Swiss francs.
130,000. Encore 130. Alex, still with you. 140,000. Thank you. 150,000. So 50,000 at 150,000 francs. All on the telephones for 150,000 francs. For 150 then. Still with you, Alex. 160,000 at 160,000. 170. 170,000 at 170,000 francs now. For 170. At 170, Alex, still holding with you. Ronnie, you're out.
This is for the Bulgari Octofinissimo
for
Flying Tourbillon marble.
No more, Ronnie. 180,000. Thank you. 180,000 at 180,000 francs now. For 180. Pour 180,000. 190,000. 190 at 190,000 francs. For 190, back with Alex. At 190,000 francs. Encore, Ronnie. No more. 190 then. Holding with Alex. Selling left for 190,000. Are we all done in the room? At 190,000. Selling left with Alex. All the way from Hong Kong. 190,000 francs. Sold with you, pedal 816. Thank you.
190,000 francs. Again, nicely within the estimate for lot number 10, Octofinissimo Flying Tourbillon in marble. Lot 11 is a pair of Chanel pieces Mademoiselle J12 in white and black ceramic.
Here we are, lot number 11. Like bidders to know that you will have an immersive 2-day experience at Gabriel Chanel's villa at La Pausa in the south of France, along with the two beautiful watches here, lot 11. And we start here at 28,000, 28,000, at 28,000,
not a bad
30,000,
bundle.
32,000. 30,000, Alex. Your bid is here. 35,000 on the telephone there. 35, 40,000, Nick. 40,000, 45,000. At 45,000 francs now, back with Alex. At 45,000 francs. Bid is left. Any more in the room for 45? 48,000, sir. Thank you. In the room. Gentleman's bid, 50,000. At 50, go 55. Thank you, sir. 55 is on the aisle for 55,000 francs now. 60,000. 65,000, 65,000. At 65,000 francs here for 65,000 francs. Thank you, sir. Holding with you in the room. At 65,000 francs, bid is seated left for 6.
The pre-auction estimate was set between 40 to 50,000 in Swiss francs.
Holding left and selling for 65,000 francs, all done in London. We're selling here for 65,000. Sold with you, sir. Thank you. 65,000, paddle 25.
Lot 11 was sold for 65,000 for paddle 25 in the room, if I recall correctly. Lot 12 is a unique example of the Chapek Complicité, which is a collaboration between the independent brand and Bernhard Lederer.
We're 50,000. At 50,000 francs, 55,000 now. For 55,000.
It's one of those pieces, again, that offer something technically
now, 60,000.
new to the brand at least.
At 65,000 francs. For 65,000 francs, 70,000, Alex, 75,000 against your telephone. At 75, 80,000, 85,000, not yours. At 85,000 francs here. Still here with me, Alex, not yours. At 85,000 francs, 85,000, the bid is here on the book at 85,000. For 85,000 francs. Here it is. Any more in the room? 85? Telephone's right. At 85,000, 85,000 for 85, je la juge. 85,000, all through. 85. Sold 85,000 to paddle number 1012.
This was the Chapek Complicité, Place Vendôme Complicité, which had an estimated value between 80,000 to 100,000. We're looking at the FP Jean chronomètre bleu furtif, which is an integrated piece in tantalum. I expect this to be quite hot.
For only watch, where do we start here? 1 million francs. Thank you, sir. I like your pink jacket from the beginning. 1 million. There it is. At 1 million francs. Close to me. Here it is on my left. 1 million. Here we start. At 1 million francs. For 1 million francs. Bidding, sir? At 1 million francs. Holding here. 1 million.
That's beautiful. I mean, the pre-auction estimate was set between 200,000 to 400,000, and we're already starting off with a 1 million Swiss franc bid.
1 million 2? 1,200,000?
1.2
1
now.
million 300,000? 1 million 400,000? 1 million
1.4,
5? 1 million 6? 1 million 7? 1 million 800,000? 1 million 900,000?
8, 1.9.
50. 1,950,000? 1,950,000?
The piece also has two embedded indicators on the movement in itself, embedded on the bridges of the movement, a power reserve indicator and a moon phase indicator. which of course
At
resonates with
1,950,000.
that
Holding here.
theme
Michael, you
of
have it.
subtlety, of
Not here, sir.
furtivité
Remy, are you coming in?
specifically.
1,950,000.
2 million in
Julien,
Swiss
take
francs.
your time. I have nowhere to be. 2 million. Now with Remy from Dubai at 2
2
million francs.
million Swiss francs with a bid from Dubai. I know
sir.
there are questions about the
2
charity
million francs. Think about it.
in the
Don't
chat,
At 2
and
million.
we can address them
Remy, you have it there. 2 million francs.
after the auction itself concludes.
Sure, sir.
I made some comments at the beginning of the live
Are
stream,
we done, sir?
and I'm
Thank you
happy
very much.
to
Don't
continue
remove your jacket. Stay
later,
here till the end of the sale.
but I don't want to
At
take
2 million
away
francs, then the bid is here with Remy. We're
from
all through in the room here. For 2
this
million francs
very
for the
exciting
FP Journal. Selling left.
action on
the
the
telephone.
auction floor.
2 million francs.
The
Sold, thank you. Paddle number
lot
9010. 2 million.
9010 has bought lot number 13, which is an FP Jaune chronomètre bleu furtif, an integrated bracelet tantalum piece for $2 million. Excuse me, 2 million in Swiss francs. Lot number 14 is a collaboration between Frédéric Constant and Christian van der Klauw.
Fitted on a wristwatch. I'd like you to note that delivery for this watch will take place at the end of the year, the end of 2024. And we'll start at 40,000, at 40,000 40 000, at
It's a tourbillon planetarium for Only Watch.
francs. Gentlemen seated here close to me at 80,000 francs, 80 000. At 80,000 francs with you, sir, paddle 174 at 80,000 francs.
The estimated value of the piece before the auction was 90,000 to 110,000 Swiss francs.
It's for 80. Any more in the back? 85,000 at 85,000 francs now. For 85, Evelyn has it on the telephone. Thank you for your bid, sir. At 85,000 francs. Evelyn, for you. Pour vous. Pour 85 000. Encore dans la salle, 85 at 85,000 francs. Any more for 85? Bid is there at 85,000 francs and selling 85,000. Sold with you, Evelyn, 85,000 francs to paddle 866.
Sold for 85,000 francs.
Now is the Four-la-Marie.
Oh, this is one of my absolute favorites. Lot number 15 for a secular perpetual calendar by Furlan-Marie. Furlan-Marie. This is a collaboration between Dominique Reynaud and Julien Tixier.
Start here at 22,000 Vandermeer. 30,000 I have on the book here. 80.
Which beautifully simplifies what is perhaps one of the most stunning expressions of technical ingenuity in the world of mechanical watches.
Sold.
A perpetual calendar, as you guys know, might not require theoretically a resetting into the next century. A secular perpetual calendar, taking into account those non-leap leap years like 2100, 2200, takes you a few centuries beyond that.
1,000 new bidder, thank you, sir, at 120,000 francs. 120 000, Julien, you coming back? At 120,000 francs. 130,000, 130 000, try 140, sir. At 130 then, thank you for your bid. 130 is here. Back to the telephone now.
The estimated value of the piece was set between 20,000 to 30,000 Swiss francs before the auction.
Sold for you, Bertol, paddle 830 for 130,000 francs.
So this is great success, again, for an emergent brand like Furlan Marie, for their piece at lot number 15 is sold for 130,000 francs. Lot number 16 is the Jarajanta piece that we were quickly looking at before the auction started. This is again one of those pieces that will be at the center of the attention.
100,000 for 100,000 at 100,000 francs. Remy, telephones at 100,000 francs. Thank you. 100 is in the room now. At 100,000, Yobitsa at 100,000 francs. 120, even better. 120,000, 120,000 at 120,000 francs now. At 120, holding left here for 120,000 francs. Any more this side? At 120,000 francs. Bid is here with you, sir. 120,000 at 120,000 francs. All through 130,000. One, sir. 150,000 now at 150.
By the way,
Shall we
this
try 160,
is
sir? Thank you. 160,000 at 160,000 francs. Still not yours in the room here, sir. At 160,000 francs.
Ali. Thank you so much.
160. 170,000.
Thank you so much.
Try 180, sir.
By the way, this might be
170,000.
a
Julien.
big disappointment
Telephone.
for Louis Vuitton and Jean Arnaud in
170.
particular.
170,000 francs. Thank you for your bids. Back up
The
to Julien. Not your bid
estimated
here, sir. And against all of you this side of the room, at 170,000 francs, I'm selling for 170,000. 170,000. Adjugé à vous, Julien. 170,000. 9006.
170,000. This must be a big disappointment because the pre-auction estimate for this watch was set between 350,000 to 500,000, so up to 500,000, and it just sold for 170. The next piece is Grönefeld. I don't know how to put it quite right. My Dutch being what it is. This is the 1941 Principia Mandala.
65,000. Thank you, Nick. 65,000 francs straight away with Nick. At 65,000 francs. 65,000. Encore dans la salle. 65. Bid is here. 70,000. At 70 now ahead of you, Nick. It's there with Pierre for 70,000 francs. 70,000. At 70,000. 70, 80? 80,000. Thank you, sir. At 80,000 francs.
The Grönefeld was had a pre-auction estimate that was set between 55 to 65,000 Swiss francs.
85,000 is there.
And is now bidding at 85,000. By the way,
90,000 now with Alex. New
90,000.
at 90,000 francs.
Lots, the
90,000
Jarajanta
francs.
octagonal
95,000.
actually sold for
95,000 francs. Alex, shall we try 100?
170,000.
95 is there. At 95,000 francs.
Meaning that it wasn't in fact valued by the market at
No more at
500,000.
95. Here it is, still with Pierre. At 95, last chance in the room, sir. I'm selling right. At 95, 100,000. There it is, new bid. At 100,000 francs, 100,000 for 100,000 francs.
Lot 17, a unique example of the Grönefeld
100, Pierre.
1941 Principia is right now being bid at
105,000.
105,000 in
At
Swiss francs.
105,000 francs now. Remy, keep going. 105 is here. At 105. 110,000, Alex. At 110. Pierre.
By the way, I'm happy to be
Selling it this side then.
up at this time.
110,000 francs. Last chance to your
I
telephone.
would happily
110,
make this a regular thing now
selling
that this
for
is my
110,000.
first and only
150,000.
job.
At 115,000 francs.
That being said, I don't think there will be always this many people.
115,000. 120,000 now at 120,000 francs.
The bidding is still going on for the
Groeneveld,
Groeneveld
120
1941 Principia Mandala,
125,000.
and it now stands at 125,000 Swiss francs.
130,000, 130,000.
130,000.
130. 130,000 francs is the bid. All done, Pierre? 130 then. Selling with Alex, 135,000.
135,000.
135,000. 135 there. 140,000, 140,000.
140,000 now.
140,000.
I think this is just a testament again for
Done. 140 then. Thank you very much for all those bids. We're all done in the room for 140. I'm going to sell it now. At
140,000.
140. Sold with.
I think again this is a testament for the kind of attraction that these sorts of established independent brands have in the market today. 140,000 in Swiss francs for the Groeneveld Principia Mandala. Lot 18 is the collaboration between Moser and MBNF, a version of the Streamliner, Pandemonium, a minute repeater version of the Moser integrated bracelet sports watch in collaboration with Max Büser and friends.
And Tensor, 110, 100 I have.
That brings together, I think, both the quirky approaches, but also the technical expertise and aesthetics of the two brands, which have previously collaborated together for the Only Watch.
At 150,000 francs, holding with you, sir. 150, 160,000 in the back now.
The
at
piece
160, 170 back to you, sir.
Is now
170
being bid
in the
at
room. Dans la salle, 170,000.
170,000 Swiss francs.
170,000 francs. Keep going in the back there.
The piece had a pretty ambitious pre-auction estimate set between 300,000 to 400,000 in Swiss francs.
190,000, 190 at 190,000 francs.
So it might disappoint those expectations, perhaps.
90,000 francs.
But
Remy, are you out?
190,000.
200,000 now this side with
now
Nick.
200,000
220,000
is not
at 250
at
50,
all.
250,000
250,000.
280,000
280,000.
300,000 300,000
All right.
320,000
So we are
350,000
actually now well within the range of what I thought
380,000
was quite an ambitious
380,000
or generous estimate.
out 380 then. Now holding back with you, sir. At 380,000 francs, the bid is here with the gentleman and with
Which
you,
now
madam.
seems
At 380,000
quite
francs, bidding here
realistic.
in the room. You're out in the back. Not your bid to my right. Remy, are you out? For 380,000 francs. Bid is right in front, and I'm selling now for 380,000. 380,000 francs. Je l'adjuge dans la salle. 380 for you, sir. Thank you. At 380,000 francs.
Lot number 18, the collaboration between Moser and MBNF, the Streamliner Pandemonium, sold for 380,000 in Swiss francs, pretty much confirming the expectations that it would attract actually this kind of attention, because the ceiling of the pre-auction estimate was set right at 400,000 in before the auction. The next lot is a rainbow-themed version of the Hermes watch that has been quite a hit ever since came out. This is the Le Temps Voyageur.
Remy Julia at 40,000 francs for 40,000 on the telephone bank for 40,000 francs. With you, Julia, Remy, 50,000. Thank you, Matthew. At 50,000 francs now for 50,000 francs. Remy, keep going. 50 is here at 50,000 francs for 55,000 at 55,000 now. At 55,000 francs. Maybe she wants to bid. At 55,000 francs then. Here it is on my right. 55. Matthew finished? 50.
This is the lot 19 Hermes Arceau Le Temps Voyageur for Only Watch.
60,000. At 60,000 francs now.
Being bid at
Ahead of the telephone
60,000
right.
Swiss francs. The pre-auction estimate was
60,000 francs.
a
There we go,
humble
65. No, 60 then. This
30,000 to
side.
40,000 in
Still with
Swiss
you,
francs.
60,000 francs with Matthew. Thank you for the bid. We're all done in the room for 60,000 francs. Je la juge, 60,000, 60,000. Sold to paddle 878. Thank you, 60,000.
Sold for 60,000. Lot number 19 for Hermes's unique example of the Le Temps Voyageur. Piruka, I know you are in the background, Swiss. It's a little difficult to handle this live from the auction floor to reconcile what's going on. So maybe right after the lots end, we're about halfway through. If you're going to be still with me, then I'm happy to include you. This is a
50,000 bidding, 260,000,
Hublot
280,000,
collaboration
300
with
Remy. At
the
280 is here. At 280,000 francs.
artist
For 280,000, 300,000.
Takashi
I have
Murakami.
350,000 at 350,000 francs on the book here against your telephone, Remy, for 350,000 francs.
A sapphire
For 350.
piece,
380,000
gem sets,
at 380 for 380,000 francs now. 380,000.
fashioned after
Matthew
the
bidding
iconic
at
smiling flower
380,000 francs, holding with Remy there.
of the artist of Takashi
380,000
Murakami.
francs. No more in the room for 380 at 380,000, 400,000, Evelyn, at 400,000 francs.
The pre-auction estimate was set between
For
350,000 to
francs. Now Evelyn's
400,000 francs,
Remy, keep going.
and the piece is now being bid at
450,
400,000
420, 420,000.
Now
420,000. Evelyn encore.
420,000.
420,000, c'est Remy. 420, Remy's bid. At 420,000 francs. $420.
Yes, NATO, it's quite early. It's quite early. I had a very important
Go on, Evelyn.
supporter of this channel
420 then. Here with
um,
Remy.
kindly asking me,
420,
and in fact,
holding for the Hublot.
sponsoring me for this
At
stream.
420,000.
And, you know, I'm not averse to it. I'm,
420,000
as
francs.
has been suggested
Remy's bid. No
in the
more for
chat.
Evelyn. Remy, you have it. At
Um,
420,000 francs then. Selling left. Are we all done? For 420, 420,000, 420. Sold with you, Remy, to
Amazing.
battle 879, 879, 879. Lot 21, the Jacques Drault, beautiful.
$420,000 for lot number 20, the smiling flower piece. That is a collaboration between Hublot and Takashi Murakami. Lot 21 is Jacques Drault Rolling Stones automaton with a pre-auction estimate set between 250,000 to 300,000 Swiss francs.
At 100,000 francs, 100,000. at 100,000. For 100,000. Here we are, 100,000. At 100,000 francs. 110,000 100 000. At 110,000 now, Matthew has it on the telephone for 110,000 francs 110 000. Encore dans la salle, 110 in the room. It's here with the telephone for 110,000 francs, 110. 120,000 now, Alex, 120 000 at 120,000 francs. At 120, Matthew, for 120,000 francs.
Now being bid at
Holding with the
120,000.
telephone. Alex has it, 120, 120 000. This side of the room for 120,000. 130,000, 130 000.
And again, this was one of the watches that I thought were very ambitiously and generously estimated, right above the $250,000 threshold, and it's being bid at 130,000 right now in Swiss francs.
140,000, 140 000.
140
Man on
now.
the telephone next to you, Matthew, 140. 140,000 is the bid. Not yours, Matthew. Ahead of you all, this side of the room, 140, 140 000.
140,000 for lot 21, which is
one more, Matthew.
Jacques Hedreau
150,000,
Rolling
150
Stones
000. At
automaton,
150 now. Still here.
being bid at 150,000 in Swiss
150,000
francs.
150, Alex. Holding with Remy's buyer, 150,000. 150 000. Encore Alex. 150 here and selling now for 150,000 francs. Last chance for the Rolling Stones, 150,000 francs. Sold with you, Matthew. Paddle 801 for 150,000. Thank you.
Sold for 150,000. The next lot number 22, is the Konstantin Chaikin Joker Zandman only watch, pièce unique. This is actually one of the pieces that were changed from the early version. I thought the 2023 piece was much more interesting. The original complicated piece that was revealed. But this is still a signature piece from Chaikin, and again executed in that unique Bulat stainless steel, proprietary alloy, you might say, for Chaikin, at least when it comes to watches, even though it might be mistaken at first glance for Damascus steel.
110,000 francs, all done, 110. Thank you, Francois, 804.
It was sold for
Lot numéro
110,000.
23, Crayon, the Anywhere.
Estimate was set between 30,000 to 50,000. Lot 23 is a unique example of the Crayon Anywhere, which allows you to tell the exact
Lot
time
numéro
of
23.
sunrise and sunset at the
And we've
precise
started
location
150,000.
chosen by the wearer.
Shout it louder, I didn't hear.
Beautiful
400,000, all right, 400,000 francs we have.
titanium piece.
At 400,000 francs, thank you, Matthew.
Starts
Bid is
at
left pour 400,000. At
400,000.
400,000 francs now. Any more in the room? For 400,000 francs, bid is left.
The estimated value of the piece
Bidding in
before the
London now
auction
for
was between
420,000. At
150,000 to
420,000 francs now in London.
250,000
At
in Swiss
Christie's in King
francs.
Street. for 420,000. 420,000.
Right
Here
now,
is not your bid.
being bid
At
at
420,000.
420,000
For
in Swiss
420.
francs.
420,000. Keep going, Matthew. Take your time. At 420,000 francs, holding in London. 430,000. Another bidder in London. 440 would be next if you like. 430 is holding here with Remy, with Matthew, sorry. 430,000. London, come back to me. 430. 440,000. Back to London at 440,000 francs.
440,000 for the Crayon
440,000.
Anywhere, lots
All done, Matthew?
23.
For 440,000 francs then, now holding in London and selling for 440,000 francs all the way in King Street. 440, 440,000. Sold in London 440 to paddle number. Paddle Nick. 9005 is our buyer. Thank you.
Lots 23 for the unique example of Crayon Anywhere. Lot 24 is a unique example of Laurent Ferrier's sport auto on track, their integrated bracelet sports watch.
We have tie bids at 85,000 francs right away. And we'll hold it with the first bidder for 85,000 at 85,000 francs. Holding here at 85,000 francs.
The bidding starts at 85,000 Swiss francs, which was the high ceiling of the pre-auction estimates.
100,000. Thank you, Nick. Now on my right for 100,000
Now bidding
francs.
at 100,000.
Selling this side on the table for 100,000 francs, 100,000. Encore dans la salle pour 100,000. We'll sell it here then with Nick for 100,000 francs, 100,000 francs. Ajouté Nick, à vous au numéro.
Sold at 100,000 Swiss francs.
10,09.
Unique
1009, c'est le
example
numéro.
of
Le numéro
Laurent
25,
Ferrier
Lédéré.
Sport Auto. Lot 25 is a unique example of Ledra central impulse chronometer with a revolutionary double
Lédéré
détente
with central impulse chronometer.
escapement.
For 40,000 francs, 40,000 at 40,000 francs. Pour 40,000 francs. At 40,000 francs. At 40,000 francs. Telephones for 40. At 40,000 francs. 50,000 now, thank you. 55. 35. 45. 45. 45,000.
Bidding
All right,
now at
45,000
45,000
Back to
Swiss
you,
francs.
Matthew, for 45,000. At 45,000 francs. 45,000 is holding left for 45,000 francs. All through in London for 45. The bid is here left at 45,000 francs. All done this side at 45, 45,000. I'm selling it now for 45,000
This
francs.
is
45,000. Sold with you, Matthew, to paddle
Ledra's
826. We saw
central
26,000.
impulse chronometer
Lot numéro 26. Number
sold
26
for
now.
45,000
This is the Louis Monnier Art Tech.
Swiss francs. Lot 26 is Louis Moinet Artec with a dial that conforms to the rainbow theme of the 10th edition of Only Watch.
85,000, 85,000 at 85,000 francs here for 85,000 straight away at 85,000 francs. Bid is here by me, 85 at 85,000, 90,000. Thank you, 95,000 at 95, 100,000, 110,000. 100,000, not your bid there at 110,000 francs. 100,000 at 110, still holding here on the book for 110,000 francs. All through.
A very unique microelectronics silicon wafer dial that is combined with tourbillon escapement here. It's kind of a visual animation on the dial. where these multicolored reflections change with the move,
Louis Vuitton's tambour
and the piece was sold for 110,000. That was lot 26. Lot 27 is an automaton by Louis Vuitton that pays tribute to Albert
27 Louis Vuitton pour 100 000
Einstein.
at 100,000. We started 100,000 francs at 100,000 francs pour 100 000 francs.
The
At 100,000
pre-auction
francs.
estimate was set between
At
340,000 to
100,000,
440,000 in Swiss
10,
francs,
110,000. Thank you, Remy.
and
At
the
110
bidding
centimes.
now
At
stands
110,000
at
francs now. On my left,
110,000.
telephone has it. For 110,000 francs. At 110, coming in from the room. At 110, 120,000. Thank you, sir. 120 000. At 120,000 francs. In the room. Pour 120 000. Encore Remy 120. Bid is here. At 120,000 francs.
Now
130 in London. At
130,000,
130,000, 140,000. 140 back here
140,000,
in Geneva at Christie's at 150,000, 160,000, 160,000, 170,000, 197,
170,
180, 180 000, 180, 190, 190 000, 200,000, 200 000, 220,000 pour 220 000. Try one more, sir. 230 if you like. Yes, 230,000.
230,000.
240 000 at 240,000. 250 if you like, sir. No, 240,000. Thank you for all your bids. At 240,000, the bid is here. London, are you coming back? 240 is here. At 250,000.
250,000, now 260,000.
Back in Geneva, gentlemen seated at 260,000 francs. 260 000.
If you're interested in this kind of watch content, auction previews,
280 is for you. At
hands-on reviews
280,000 francs.
of watches,
280 000.
vintage, neo-vintage,
290,000, 300,000 back with
please
Dimitri
follow me
Buyer.
here. Feel
At
free to
300,000
subscribe
francs, your bid, Dimitri.
and
At 300 is
drop a
you.
like.
Pour 300 000. At 300,000 francs.
I would also really appreciate it
320,000.
if you could leave a comment
350,000
after the
350
live
000.
stream ends.
350 against London. Bid is here in the room.
This
For
is the Louis
350,000.
Vuitton Tambour Einstein Automata at lot 27.
350.
Right now being bid at
350,000 francs.
350,000.
400,000.
Now
Albert
400,000.
Einstein from London. 20, sir. 420,000. Back here with you,
420,000.
Dimitri. 420 is your bid. In the room. 420 000. At 420,000 francs. 450,000.
450,000 after the
480, sir.
disappointment.
480,000.
I have to say
480 000.
that Louis Vuitton
480,000 francs.
experience with the Jarajanta revival in this auction. This might be some consolation. Now being bid at
500,000.
500,000 in Swiss
London.
francs.
Jean-François has it for 500,000. 550,000. 550,000 francs.
550,000.
At 550 now. For the Tambour Einstein. 550,000 francs. At 550,000, holding here in Geneva,
550.
550,000. No more at 550 then. Bid is here on my right. We'll sell it. Are we all done, sir? All through 550 then. Bid is here. Last chance for anyone else in the room. Pour
Lot
550,000.
27. Louis Vuitton Tambour
570,000.
Einstein Automata
600,000. 600,000.
is being bid at
At
600,000 now.
600,000 francs pour 600,000. Yes, 600 is in the room. At 600,000 francs. 600,000 francs dans le salle. Always with Dimitri. 620,000.
620,000.
650,000.
650,000.
At 650,000 francs.
Up to this point, it's still the
680,000.
FP Jaune chronomètre bleu
700,000. Thank you.
furtif
At 700,000 francs, 700
at
000.
lot
In the
13
room, on the aisle.
that sold
At
for
700,000
2
francs.
million
Pour
Swiss
700 000 francs.
francs. But this is still one of the, turning out to be one of the highlights.
Jean-Francois, not your bid. At 700,000, we're out.
At
This time it's
lot
really in the room.
27,
Pour 700 000. Thank you very much, Jean-Francois, for all of your bids to your client. Bid is here with Dimitri in the room. Thank you very much. And selling 700 000. Your bid, Dimitri, thank you. 700,000
lot
francs.
27,
114.
Louis
Lot
Vuitton
number
Tambour Einstein
28.
Automata sold for
Numéro 28.
700,000
Here
Swiss
we have the
francs.
Ludovic Balouard.
Lot 28 is a unique example of Ludovic Balouard's ingenious take on the jump hour competition, which features a stunning engine turn dial, engine turn by hand, by Brittany Nicole Cox,
With the upside down blue
featuring
feather, lot 28 for 50,000 francs straight away. 50 000, 55
a
000,
distinctive
here. 60,000,
design
65,000,
depicting
70,000. Combien, Julien?
flying birds.
100 000, 100,000. At 100,000 francs pour 100 000. At 100 on the phone bank here, to my left, for 100,000 francs.
Pardon me, lot
Encore dans la salle,
28,
100 000 at 100,000 francs. London, telephones this
the
side.
Ludovic
At
Balouard
100,000.
upside down
Selling with
blue
Julien now
feather
for 100,000 francs.
is
Remy, are you done? For 100,000 francs, 100 000, Gelat Juge,
being
100,000.
sold at
Sold with you, Julian, 100,000. Paddle
100,000
834.
Swiss francs. The
Lot
pre-auction
numéro
estimate
29.
was
This
set
is the
between
Maurice Lacroix.
60,000 to 90,000. Lot 29 is Maurice Lacroix masterpiece for only one.
Lot 29. And we start at 20,000, 20 000. At 20,000 francs, 22 000, 22 000. Here it is, pour 22 000 francs. Encore 22 000. At 22,000 francs, the bid is here, 24 000, merci. At 24,000. At 24,000 francs now. Pour
This piece
24 000 francs.
had a
Encore
pre-auction
24
estimate
000.
set between
Telephones.
25,000 to
24,000 francs, the bid is here.
35,000 Swiss
At
francs,
24,000 francs.
now
Pour
being bid
24
at
000 francs. At
24,000
26,000,
Swiss francs.
okay. At 26,000 francs, still here with us.
26,000 Swiss francs,
28,000 against the room now.
28,
At 28,000 francs now. Selling pour 28 000. Je la juge pour 28 000 francs. Pour vous mettre 28 000, 28,000. Adjugé au numéro 1013.
Lot 29, Maurice Lacroix masterpiece just sold for
Lot
28,000.
numéro 30. This is the Mont Blanc Geosphere Oxygen Carbon Only watch.
Lot 30 is Mont Blanc.
Lot numéro 30. This watch will be donated with an ice pick to break the ice like zero oxygen capsule that the watch is located in. Lot 34. 15,000
No comment.
at 15,000 francs, 16,000, 16,000 pour vous mettre.
But
16,000 francs, 16 is here.
you gotta
At
appreciate
16,000 francs, 17,000, 18,000,
the kind of
18,000 here now. At 18,000,
interesting
19,000,
ideas
20,000, 20,000.
that
At
accompany
22,000 here
the
with
lot
Ellie. Pour 22 000,
here.
Ellie on the telephone. At 22,000 francs. Pour 22 000. Encore dans la salle, 22 000. At 22,000 francs. Bid is
This
holding
is
left.
the Mont
At
Blanc
22,000 francs.
Geosphere
22 000. All done for 22 then.
has
Ellie, you have it. Pour 22 000, je la juge.
for the first
22,000.
time for
All
the
done.
brand that
At
has
20,000
zero oxygen
francs, 22 000.
carbon
Adjugé au numéro
case
820.
sold
820 for 22,000.
for 22,000, which is
numéro
right
31,
below
now
the
the Maurice
pre-auction
Grossman.
estimates. Lot 31 is a unique example of Moritz Grossman's temblage. very subdued, very monochromatic, with that distinctive work of tremblage on the dial from this glashütte
The Maurice
based
Grotzman tremblage.
maker.
Nous ça à 20
The
000.
pre-auction estimate was
At
set between
20,000 francs,
30,000 to
pour 20 000 francs, 22
45,000
000, 24 000. At
Swiss
24,
francs.
26,000, 28,000, 30,000, 30 000.
Already
at
at
30, 30 000 francs.
30,000,
At
bidding at
30,000 francs.
30,000.
Ne plus vous dans la salle. 30,000 is here. At 30,000 francs pour 30 000, 32 000, 35 000, 35,000. At 35, try 38, sir.
35,000.
No more, 35 then. The bid is here.
Memo
Pour
box.
35
Thank
000
you
francs,
so much.
38 000, 40
Also a
000,
member of the
40,000.
channel.
At 40,000 francs
50
now. For
Danish
40,000
kroner there.
francs.
Thank you.
On the table pour vous mettre, c'est plus vous, Françoise.
Thank you for the
42 000.
warm
Now with
welcome.
you. On the telephone with Françoise for 42,000, 42 000. 45,000, Nick has it here. 45 000 at 45,000 francs. Vous voulez encore, Françoise? 45 000 pour Nick. At 45,
Moritz
48,000.
Kaufmann at
At
lot
48,000
31.
francs then. Here back on the
The
telephone. London, are you coming
Tremblage
in? At 48,000 francs, 48 000.
is right now being bid at
48,000
48,000.
50,000 in London.
Now
Dominic, your bid
50,000.
now at 50,000 francs in London. Pour 50 000. Lancé à Christie's Londres. Encore Françoise, 55,000. Yes, you
55,000.
Dominic, 55,000. Françoise has it here in Geneva for 55,000 francs.
55,000 francs. This is the lot 31 for the unique example of the Moritz Grossman Tremblage.
60,
A very subdued
57, 57,000, all right.
and
57 000
elegant piece
at
by
57,000
the
francs.
glass
57 000 francs.
based maker,
Françoise voulait
and the
60 000.
German maker.
Pour 57 000 francs. 60 000, merci. 60,000. Pour
Now
60 000
bidding
francs,
at
not yours, Dominic. C'est
60,000.
plus vous à Londres. Pour 60 000. 65, 62, 62 000. At 62,000.
62,000.
Françoise voulait 65 000. Pour 62 000, c'est toujours à Londres avec Dominic. 64 000, 64,000.
64,000.
68,000 in the room now. Pour
68,000
68
now.
000 at 68,000 francs.
68,000 in
At
the room.
68, no more Françoise. 68, 68 000. London, 70. No more. 68 is here then. In the room, selling it at 68,000 francs pour 68 000. Dominic, would you like
Lot
70?
31
68,000 francs. 70,000 at 70,000 francs. Back to London.
is now
Try
being
75,
bid
sir.
at 70,000. This is lot 31 for the Moritz
72,000. At
Grossman
72,000 francs.
Tremblage
Back with you, sir. In the room. Pour
being bid at
72,000. At
72,000
72,000 francs.
Swiss francs.
For 72,000. Keep going, Dominic.
This is lot 31 once again.
74,000.
Now being bid at 74,000.
Dominic's bid 74.
There are a total of
76,000.
47
Your bid, sir.
lots.
At
So we are
76,000 francs now.
closer to the end than we are to the
76 is in the
beginning
room
at
in
this
Geneva.
point. And there are a lot of heavyweights to come. There are a lot of younger makers too. And of course, lot 32,
76 000.
which,
Dans la salle à Genève. 76,000.
by the way,
78,000.
78,000 now.
London has
for
it,
Moritz
78.
Kaufmann. The next lot is the Patek Philippe.
80,000 francs.
piece.
80 000 at
So
80,000.
we are sitting at the edge of our seats. This is the unique version
80 000 francs.
in steel of the Count
82,000, 82 000
Sonnery
at 82,000
miniature
francs.
Peter
85,000, thank you, sir.
is
85 000.
coming up.
85 in the room.
Lot 30,
Next bid would be 88, Dominic. At 85, the bid is still in the room here.
lot 31,
85,000 francs.
which is the Moritz Grossman Tremblage,
88,
right now being bid at
88,000, 88 000. No more, sir.
80,000.
88 then is holding in London. Thank you very much for your bids. At 88, 88,000 francs now. Bid is in London at Christie's for 88,000 francs and selling 88,000. Dominic sold
Lot
with you
31
88,000.
sold for
And the panel
88,000
is
Swiss francs.
862. 862.
Lot
Thank you.
32 represents Patek Philippe's participation in this edition of The Only Watch. So there might be some interesting developments. If you would like to take a guess, please feel
32.
free to share it in the chat.
The Patek Philippe Grande and Petite Sonnerie.
It features a very impressive funky dial, baguette cut diamonds, indices for the hours, for the hour markers.
With its beautiful guilloche enamel dial and crafted in steel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and only.
Chiming
Where shall we
watch
start?
executed in stainless
5 million
steel,
francs, here it is. At
which
5 million francs.
has been Patek's signature participation in
8 million
Only
francs
Watch.
just ahead of you, sir. 8 million.
Right now
At
being
8
bid
million.
at 8 million
We have
francs.
8. The auction goes
It
up.
started with a 5 million
Alex?
franc bid.
10 million.
The bidding now stands at 10
10
million.
million francs. Telephone with Alex.
Being bid at 10 million.
10 million francs. Take your time, gentlemen. At 10 million, 10 million, holding with Alex on the telephone there. At 10 million francs. Pour 10 millions. 10 million francs on the telephone. How much, Ronnie? I like these bids going up in a million. 11 million francs here. 11
Now
million, Ronnie, your bid. For
11
11 million francs. Holding Ronnie's bidder, 11 million. For 11 million francs. Now 12 million in the back there. At 12 million francs.
At 12 million francs.
New bidder in the room, 12 million.
This means that
12 million 500,000. Alex, 12 million 500 000. For 12 million 500,000 francs. 12 million 500 000 francs.
12.5 million francs. It has already broken the record for this auction for the Only Watch.
12 million 5.
Which was previously 725 for another Patek Philippe piece, a 5016 uniquely executed in stainless steel. Now that record has already been broken by a unique example of
13 million.
6301 in stainless steel, which is now being bid at 13 million in Swiss francs.
13 million francs.
And that's
13 million 500,000.
13,500. That means
13 million 5.
This is officially a top 5 watch, top 5 most expensive watch sold on public auction. Let's see if it can actually overtake Paul Newman's own Paul Newman Daytona that was famously sold at Phillips, New York in 2017 for almost $18 million. 17.75 official number for that. This piece is now being bid at $14 million.
Ahead of you, sir, in the back there. Ahead of your bidder, Alex. 14 million, Ronnie's bid.
Memovox has an interesting take there. Did Patek produce the dial in-house? It looks quite Voutilainen-esque. No comment, but I do know
14 millions francs.
that
Still here.
at other price
Holding for
points,
14 millions francs.
Patek is known to outsource their dials
Come back
quite
to me,
often.
sir.
And I don't necessarily present that as a diss on the brand at all.
14 is there.
But of
Still Ronnie's
course,
bid.
the smoke and mirrors and
Alex
all
B, you
the
coming back to me?
sleights of hand that go into presenting this idea of being fully vertically integrated and
14 million
producing
francs is the
everything
bid.
in-house
Here
is
at Only Watch.
a mere myth for most brands. And that list
sir.
of most brands includes Rolex as
No
well,
more?
of course. The Patek
Yes.
Philippe Only Watch right now is being bid at
At
14
14 million then. Here it is.
million Swiss
For
francs.
14 million francs. Ronnie has it. Alex.
14 million. Apes' guess was 15 million. Let's see if that will happen.
14,500,000. Still at the
14
back of the
million
room now.
500.
14 million 500,000.
Apes
Ronnie and Alex.
might end up
You both
being
come back to me.
exactly right. I wish there was a way of making
14
money
million
on
500,000.
that.
In the
Apes.
back.
I don't know if you had found a
14
bookie.
million 700,000. 14 million 700,000. Sam, what's the magic number?
Will we make it to
There we go, 15 million.
15 million. 15 million for lot 32.
15 millions francs dans la salle. Thank you, Sam. At
It's
15 million francs.
joking aside, I mean, if there were legal betting on something like this, you may have
What will you give me
struck
next,
gold
Alex?
with this one.
15, the bid is here.
Now being bid at 15 million, lot
15 millions francs.
32, Patek Philippe Grand et Petite Sonnerie, chiming
Ronnie,
watch
one more.
executed in stainless steel as a unique example for Only Watch, 6301A.
Still in the back there.
Beautiful
Bid with Sam for 15 million.
ancrage work on the
Against the two
decoration of
telephones
the
here.
movement on the back and a stunning
15 million francs then.
flanqué
In the
dial
back.
that is set with baguette cut diamonds for hour markers
15 million
in the front.
200,000. 15 million 200,000.
Flanqué is a roundabout way of saying that this dial is both a hand guilloché dial and it's
Try
also
15
finished
5.
in this distinctive
15
shade
million
of blue
500,000. 15 million
in
500,000.
enamel. Good morning, John D. Nice to see you.
15 5.
It's 15.5 now. So
With Ronnie.
Apes had a great
You
guess,
said that last time. At 15 million 500,000.
but unfortunately he wasn't exactly right.
Holding with you. Alex, come back to me.
Whiskey Reaper, I see you. This is the mood in the room
15.5.
is
This side.
interesting.
Ronnie has it. Yours yet, sir. At 15 million
Please
500,000.
realize again, it comes easy, but this makes it exactly number
Ronnie's
4
telephone.
of the most in the
15
list of
million
most expensive watches that were ever
500,000.
sold on public auction, right behind the Paul Newman Daytona, the Paul Newman Daytona,
Hold
and
on.
it has basically
15
doubled
million 500,000.
the previous record on this auction, which was a unique
On the last
example
try, Alex.
of
Pour
the
15 million 500,000 francs.
5016 that was
Toujours avec
sold
Ronnie.
for about
15
7.25 million
15
in
million
US dollars.
700,000. 15 million 700,000.
That previous piece is rumored to be in
15
Brad
million
Pitt's
700,000 francs
collection
dans la
now.
Sam has it.
I wonder who is bidding for this particular piece, for which the bidding now
Shall we
stands
try
at
16, Ronnie?
15.16 million in Swiss francs. Did we hear 16 there?
15.7.
Apes, I think the current record
Seated
holder
in the room
is also a
for
Patek Philippe.
15,700,000.
I think it was a Grandmaster Chime that was sold about 5 years ago now, in 2016.
No more, Ronnie.
I think by Christie's as well.
15,700,000.
15.7. Will we see 16 million? Will we maybe experience a surprise takeover
In the
of
back.
the Paul Newman Daytona?
Yours. 15,700,000 francs. Last chance, both of you.
I
15,700,000
think lot 32 is
warning.
now
For 15,700,000 francs. Yes, Alex.
15.7
15.7.
for the Patek Philippe Grande et Petite Sonnerie.
Last chance.
6301 in stainless steel.
15,700,000. Ladies and gentlemen, only watch.
It is now sold. Number 4 in the list of most expensive watches ever sold on public auction.
Your paddle, sir.
Completely obliterating
Call it out.
the
152.
records previously
152. 152. Thank
set
you.
at only
Thank you,
watch.
Zach.
Goes to
Lot number
paddle
33 now. The
152.
Peterman bidder. Lot number 33.
Lot number 32 is the Peterman Beda Paris collaboration. One of my personal favorites in this auction. There were many
Lot 33 now, and we'll start right away.
interesting time-only pieces.
120,000, Matthew,
this
you
will
have it.
be-
120,000
This
at
will be hot.
120,000 francs, straight away. Pour 120,000
I
francs. au
love that.
téléphone.
I
At
love that
120 now. Any more in the room?
because
At 120,
the pre-auction
130,000,
estimate was
130,000.
set
Thank you, sir.
between 50,000
130,000
to
francs is here.
100,000 in
At
Swiss francs.
130,000 francs. 130. In the room, 140,000,
And
150,000.
the piece is now being
150,000
bid at
150,000
150,000.
francs, 160,000, 160,000. Thank you, sir, for the bid. 160, still holding with you, sir. At 160,000 francs. Pour 160,000. Encore 160, 170,000, 170.
170.
At 170, 180,000, 180,000. At 180,000 now. At 180.
180,000
For 180,000 francs. Not
for
your bid, Françoise. 190,000, Françoise has it. 200,000 this side. At
200,000.
200,000 with Kim. 200,000. The 100,000. Keep going, sir.
I really like this piece for
220,000 the
a
100,000.
number of reasons.
At 220,000 francs.
220,000
120,000.
francs now.
240,000 the 140,000.
240,000.
240. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. 240 then. Still holding right. At 240,000 francs. I'm selling. Last chance on this side.
240,000.
240,000 je la juge. 240. 240,000. Sold with you came 877.
Okay, this is
240,000.
lot
Lot
33.
number 34.
The Peterman
It's
Beda
the Piaget Polo Skeleton RT.
collaboration. So for $240,000. And now we're looking at lot 34, which is a siliconized version of the Piaget Polo S.
Lot 34, and we can start here for just 12,000, 12,000 à la table pour vous mettre 12,000 francs. At 12,000 francs now. Encore dans la salle, 12,000, 13,000, 14,000, merci. At 14,000, 15,000, 16,000, 16,000. At 16,000 francs now. At 16,000 francs.
The
50,000, 50,000. At 50,000 francs straight away. For 50,000 francs. On my
pre-auction
left,
estimate
at 50
for
to
this
the
one
telephone.
was set
Encore
between
dans la salle,
50,000 to
at
80,000.
50,000 francs then, je la juge for 50, selling for just 50,000 francs pour 50,000 francs, 50, 55,000, Alex, thank you. At 55,000 francs now.
55,000
55,000 francs.
for the Piaget
60,000
Polo
Remy at 60,000
skeleton
francs. Remy
RP.
has it for 60,000. 65,000, 65,000 at 65,000 francs. 75,000, 75,000 at 75,000 now. For 75,000 francs.
Quick change of microphones for
80,000,
me
80,000.
because I want to make sure that I stay live.
100,000, 100,000. Merci. Thank you, Remy. 100,000 for the Piaget at 100,000 francs.
The lot 34
Alex, keep
for
going.
the Piaget
No
Polo
more. 100 then. Remy has it
skeleton
for
RT
100,000 francs.
is being bid
Selling
at
left
100,000
here at Christie's
right
in
now.
Geneva. 100,000, 100,000. Je l'adjuge. Adjugé à vous au numéro 839. Lot numéro 35. This is the reservoir Telos.
Lot 35 presents a collaboration between Reservoir and Pilot, a jump hour piece with retrograde indication for the minute.
Lot 35. And where shall we start here?
Combined with a tourbillon.
20 000 francs, 20,000 at 20,000 francs. Pour 20 000 francs at 20,000. Bid in the room for 20,000 francs.
Value of the watch
Alex,
was
Remy, 20,000.
set between
20,000 we have there. Thank you. At 20,000 francs with Tanya. For 20,000 francs. 20 000.
It is
Encore
now
pour 20 000
being bid at
20,000 francs. Tanya has it on
20,000
my right.
francs.
Pour 20 000 francs. Encore pour 20 000 at 20,000 francs then. And selling. All done. Dernière chose dans la salle pour 20 000 at 20,000 francs now. For 20,000 francs.
Piece
at 20,000 francs then. 22,000 22 000 at 22,000 francs.
presented in a bronze case.
24,000 at 24 000. 30,000, 30 000.
Now being bid at 30,000 Swiss francs,
Tania voulait 35.
which gets us closer to the pre-auction estimates, still somewhat disappointing
35 000.
compared
35,000.
to that
40 Remy.
estimate. Thank you, John
50,000,
D.
50 000.
I really appreciate you too. And
50 000
congratulations on your new watch, which I really, really like, as you know.
Pour 50 000. Vous voulez 55, Tania? $55,000. 55,000. Pour 55 000 francs. Remise 60? Yes?
Ali, I'm glad you're still here, by the way.
No more for 55 then. Holding this side at 55,000 francs. Tania, your telephone pour 55 000, je l'adjuge. 55 000. Adjugé au numéro 868, 868. Lot numéro 36. Please note VAT will be charged on the hammer price of this watch. This is the Raisons Type 1.
Now, lot 36, which is a Raisons Type 1 for only watch. Type 1 square.
And lot 36 pour 26 000 at 26,000 here.
By the way, lot 37 is the Recep chronometre antimagnétique, so that is possibly going to be very hot as well. Will it sell for more than the FP Jaune chronomètre bleu furtif? That remains to be seen. That's sold at 2 million Swiss francs.
1,000, thank you. 38,000. at 38,000 francs, 33,000 at 38,000
Right
francs now.
now,
London,
we're
come back to
looking
me.
again
38
at
is here.
lot
On the table
36, which
for
is the
38.
Raisons Type 1 Square
38,000.
for only
Prix
one.
40, Remy.
And it is being bid
New bidder London, Dominic, for 40,000, 40,000.
at
At
40,000.
40,000 francs now. We're out on the book here for 40. It is in London, 40,000 francs with Dominic. Yes, Dominic has it for 40,000 at 40,000 francs. Remy 42,000, 40 is there.
Thank you, John D. And thank you for sharing that
40,000
detail as well. I
Holding in
really
London, King Street. Selling
enjoyed
on the telephone there.
my
Pour
exchanges
40,000,
with you
42,000,
over.
42,000. 42 is here, just ahead of
It's
you.
been
Would you like
almost a
45
year,
in London?
I think, since
At
we
42, the bid is
started
here.
going back and forth,
Remy has
you
it
know,
for
in the chat
42,000.
of my live streams. But I was really happy that you reached out on Instagram as well.
At 42,
And
Julia, would you like 45?
I've been able
For
to
42,000 francs.
address some of your
45,000
questions.
with Dominic.
And I think that
At
that
45,
watch
45,000.
fits beautifully within your collection and
For 45,000 francs.
sits just perfectly on your wrist.
48,000, 48,000. Not yours, Dominic. Back to Geneva for 48. Try 50. At 48,000 francs, the bid is back here. For
The Raisons
48,000
Type 1
francs.
Square at lot
48,000 francs.
36 is right now
Against the two bidders in London. Bid is still here.
being
48 with Remy. 48,000.
bid
50,000, thank you.
at
Dominic has it for 50
50,000.
now. At 50,000 francs, 50,000.
Memo Walks, by the
Numéro
way,
55.
I was basically tearing up when I saw that as I woke up, because I thought I won't be able to stream because Christie's website is completely offline. But thankfully, this particular link for the live stream of the Only Watch auction must be being hosted by some other server, because we haven't experienced any problems with the live stream so far.
60,000.
It
60,000 in London.
It did start a little later than expected, the auction, but with the live stream, thankfully, there hasn't been any problems. The Crayon
65,000.
sold
65,000.
earlier.
Try 70,
Captain,
Dominic.
by the way, I know you were asking.
65,000 francs.
It was
65,000.
lot 23. And I believe it was right around 500,000 in Swiss
Here in
francs.
Geneva, 65,000
So
francs.
it was
for the Raisons.
one of the more successful
At
pieces.
65,000. 68,000 for 60,000. At 68,000, Remy. Do you like 70? $68 in London. 70,000, 70,000 at 70,000 francs now.
Okay. No disrespect to Raisons,
70,000
but there is
ici
a
à Genève.
somewhat subdued
All done,
mood,
Dominic.
I think, in
70,000
that
francs
room
there.
as well, but certainly here in Los
It
Angeles,
is here in
because
Geneva. I'm selling it now.
I'm already
for
looking forward to the next
70,000
lot,
francs.
which you might be interested in. It's by this rather unknown young
70,000.
watchmaker of Kosovar Albanian origin,
Last chance.
who has been
70,000
making
francs.
quite a stir in
70.
Geneva.
Sold with you, Remy. 70,000. Numéro 800.
Joking aside,
39 pour 70,000. Merci.
lot 37
Au
is
numéro
Recepi chronomètre
37.
antimagnétique
Au numéro 37.
Raisons
This
at
is
the
the
lot
Recepi
36 just
chronomètre anti-magnetic.
sold. We're moving on to lot 37. Recepi introduced this piece for Only Watch last year. A beautiful
Beautiful black enamel,
case.
grand feu dial, and we'll start straight away
That's
at
distributed by
190,000, 190,000,
Jean-Pierre
at
Agman,
190,000,
who is now
300,000,
in-house
500,000,
with Recep Tayyip.
550,000, 600,000,
The piece is already being bid at
650,000, 700,000,
700,000,
750,000, 750 we have, Matthew. 750 is here.
750.
750 now closer to me. With you, sir, and you, madam.
Apes' guess is
Keep going, sir.
3.8.
At 750,000 francs. Here it is. Pour 750,000. 800,000. There it is with Julian. Pour 800,000. London has it for 800,000.
800,000.
1 million from Bahrain.
$1 million from Bahrain.
1 million francs all the way in Bahrain.
The piece is now being bid at
1 million francs.
1 million francs.
1.1, sir.
This is the Recep Recepi chronometre
1 million francs. Holding with
anti-magnetic
Matthew. 1,100,000.
with the stainless steel
Now Alex Remy has it
case made by
for
Jean-Pierre
1.1 million.
Agman and a
Geneva versus Bahrain.
Grand
1.1.
Feu black enamel dial, which takes its inspiration from the scientific dials of old,
1,100,000.
with alternating blocks along the R scale that stands for
London
the
coming back to me.
polarities of a magnetic field. Of course, Recep Recepi has been
1,150,000. Uge has it.
has
1,150,000. 1,150.
one of the
For
hottest independent watchmakers,
1,200,000 from Bahrain.
perhaps the
Emilio de Samir. Uge, would you like
independent
50?
young watchmaker.
1,250,000. Emilio de 150,000 from Dubai. Bahrain, you have 1.3.
Let's see if Bahrain keeps up with Dubai. It's
Emilio de 150,000. Uge, try 1.3
I
if you
was
like.
honestly I was
1,250,000 is
hoping
here with Remy.
1,250, 1.25. I was honestly expecting
Emilio de 150,000.
this piece to possibly overtake
1,300,000
the
London.
Dawn.
Emilio
That
300,000.
seems somewhat unlikely now. The Chronomètre Bleu Furtif that sold earlier on this auction for 2 million
Remy 50.
Swiss francs. That was lot 13.
From Bahrain, still here, 1,350,000.
And the bidding now,
1,350,000.
they're bidding
Okay, give me
now
1.4.
on lot 37, which is the Recep
1,400,000 from
Recepi
Dubai.
chronomètre
1,400,000.
anti-magnétique,
Bahrain, come back to me.
1.4.
1,400,000. Now Remy.
Yeah, Ali, it's
1,400,000.
it's an incredibly difficult job to work the phones on a live auction. Oh my God. I mean,
Yes, you gave one more.
you know,
1 million four then. The bid is
being
here
the auctioneer is
with Remy
also quite
Julia.
difficult, especially if
Selling it this
you
time, Bahrain.
have
For
a distinctive,
1,400,000.
engaging
1,400,000.
style that can
In the back.
pull
Telephone
those
for
bids
1.4. Uge, last chance.
from the room,
1,450,000. 1,450,000. Remy, you want 1.5?
Is it going to happen? I don't know. I'm somehow expecting a last minute.
1,450,000 is Uge's bid in London.
Okay. The bidding now stands at
Remy, 1.5.
1.45.
1,500,000.
1.5 million. 1.5 million for the Recep Recepi chronomètre anti-magnétique.
1,500,000 francs. London, come back to us.
We are covering the only watch
1,500,000.
10th
Holding here with
edition.
Remy.
live from Geneva.
1,500,000 francs.
Right now,
1.5 million.
the bidding continues on lot 37, which
Geneva.
is a unique example of Recep Recepi's chronomètre antimagnétique.
One more, Uge.
The bidding stands at
1,550,000. Thank you. In
million
London,
Swiss francs.
1,550,000.
A bidder from London is right now in the lead.
From Bahrain, 1,600,000.
Bahrain now
1,600,000.
1,600,000.
1,600,000. 1,600,000 back to Bahrain. Remy, try another bid.
1.6
Uge,
million
come back
Swiss
to me.
francs
1,600,000
for lot 37.
for 1.6 million. Dubai
If
is
you're
back.
interested in this
1,650,000.
kind of content, if
1,650,000
you're
francs.
interested in watch-related content,
1,650,000.
contemporary pieces, hype watches, vintage pieces, neo vintage pieces,
1,650,000
I
francs.
cover everything on this channel. So feel free to subscribe, hit the like button,
One more in
and
London.
feel free to leave a
1,650 is
comment.
there.
There is
Bahrain,
a
you're coming
great
back to me.
archive of
At
content
1,650,000 then. This time
that
Dubai has
will
it.
only
At
increase in
1,650,000
quality and
francs.
quantity with
Selling Uge.
time.
1,650,000.
Lot 37, the
Last chance.
Recepi
1,650,000.
might be already sold.
1,700,000.
1.7 now. 1.7 million Swiss francs
1,700,000.
for the
Bahrain,
Recepi
if you'd like to come back.
antimagnétique.
We like having you in the mix.
Yes, whole milk. I am a hype beast. I'm
1,700,000.
even wearing a royal oak. See,
Now with
I
Uge
can
in
keep up.
London.
I can keep up with the onions.
1,700,000 francs. 1,700,000. All done this side. 1,750,000. 1,750,000.
1,750,000
francs.
in Swiss francs. King Charles, yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe the London bidder is actually part of
Okay.
the royal family. Who would know?
1,750 back in Geneva.
What a huge scandal would it be, huh? I'm sure,
1,800,000 from
I'm sure
Bahrain.
the
1,800,000
would love to
at
dive into
1,800,000.
that if a watch from this sort of auction turns
For
up
1.8 million.
on King Charles's
Back to Bahrain.
or Prince William
Remy.
wrist. 1.8.
At 1,800,000.
1.8 million in Swiss francs for Recep Recepi's chronomètre antimagnétique.
Pour 1,800,000. 1,850,000.
108.
1,850,000. Remy has it in Dubai.
1.85.
At 1,850,000 francs.
Rémi
1,850,000.
from Dubai.
Uge.
Rémi is on the phone, of course. The bidder is
1,850,000.
from Dubai.
Holding in the back there. Remy coming back to me. Alex, Matthew. 1,850,000. Still with you. Remy, your bid. 1,850,000. It's your bid. 1,850,000. No more this time. Uge, one more. At 1,850,000. Selling it pour 1,850,000 francs. Je l'adjuge
37.
dans la salle à Genève. 1,850,000. 1,900,000.
1.9 now. What a last
1,900,000.
bid. Will we
1,900,000
will we
francs.
see 2 million? Will we see at least a two-way tie between
1,900,000. Uge has it.
Jean
Mathieu has Remy for
and Recep Recepi
1,900,000.
for that
550.
runners-up spots after the Patek Philippe Grande et Petite Sonnerie in stainless steel that's had such a striking
1,900,000 francs is the bid. In London with Uge.
sale for about 16 million in
1,950,000.
Swiss francs.
1,950,000. Back here in Geneva. for 1,950,000. Can't stop now, Uge. 1,950,000 francs. Here it is. 2 million francs.
2 million now. Recepi has, in fact, tied with his chronomètre antimagnétique FP Jean's
Can try 50
unique piece
at 2 million.
unique
Uge, your bid.
with the chronomètre,
Remy from Dubai, we have 50 more.
the integrated bracelet tantalum watch
At
that
2
sold for
million
2
francs.
million
Holding in London.
as lot 13. Now lot
2
37,
million.
the bidding stands at 2 million Swiss francs.
London has it for 2 million. We all done? 2 million francs.
The bidder from London is
Selling it in
still
London.
in the lead. Is the watch going to London?
Last chance for 2 million francs.
Let's
For
see if
Rexep-
something
Rexepi.
happens
Now selling.
in the
Only
last
watch. 2 million
second.
francs. 2,050,000.
Is that right? Yeah, I thought, all right, 2,050,000. Well, that means it has
2,050,000.
overtaken the FP Jean
Okay, do we
piece
have 2.1?
that was offered here
At
earlier
2,050,000 francs. Bid is
as
back with Remy.
lot 13. This is lot 37, the Recepi chronomètre antimagnétique, which is selling
2,050,000 francs.
right over 2 million Swiss
Your bid, Remy.
francs
2,050,000
right
is you.
now.
At 2,050,000. Okay. Yes, no. 2,100,000. At 2.1 million.
2.1 million now. All right.
Back to London, Uge's client, 2 million one.
$2.1 million.
2.1 million.
Okay.
2.1 million francs. Uge with you.
We're still a little behind,
Try one more.
a little far from Apes' original guess, which
2
was
million one.
almost 4 million, 3.8 million.
All through.
But
2.1 million. Thank you very much, Remy.
this
Thank you
is
very
still
much,
quite
sir.
impressive.
2,100,000. Uge for you.
Sold for 2.1 million in Swiss francs. That was lot 37, the
And the
Recepi
paddle number
chronomètre
is
antimagnétique.
680. 880. 880. Lot numéro 38. Lot number 38. This is now the Richard Mille Talisman Origine.
Lot number 38 is a Richard Mille piece called Talisman Origine. That's designed as an amulet, even though it does preserve the distinctive tonneau-shaped case and open-worked aesthetic that's quite recognizable from the brand.
400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000. 800,000 dans la salle at 800,000 francs.
Nice.
For
We are already at the high ceiling of the pre-auction estimate, which was set between 600,000 to 800,000 Swiss francs.
850,000. 900,000 now with Nick.
The bidding now stands at
We have 900, can take
900,000
950.
for the
900,000,
Richard
Nick has
Mille
it.
piece
1 million, Julien.
at lot 38.
At 1 million francs. Pour 1 million.
1 million for the
1 million, one
Talisman
Ellie. 1 million, two
Origine
Nick. 1 million, 200,000. À la table pour 1,2 million. 1,300,000, thank you, sir.
1.3
1
for
million
the
300,000 dans la
Richard
salle.
Mille
1.3.
Talisman Origine at lot 38.
1 million 3. Your bid, sir, and for you, madam. 1.3 million. Bidding in London at 1,400,000 now. 1,400,000. At 1.4, thank you, sir. 1,400,000 francs in London.
1.4.
Ellie, ahead of you. Thank you, sir. Not your bid. 1,500,000. 1,500,000.
1.5
Julien.
for
At
the Richard
1.5
Mille
million.
at lot 38.
1,600,000. 1,600,000.
1.6.
1,600,000 francs au Christie's Londres. 1,700,000. Ellie is back at 1,700,000 francs. Ahead of you, London. 1.7. 1,800,000. 1,800,000.
1.8.
London has it for 1.8 million. $1,800,000 francs. Holding still in London. Julia. Ellie, one more. At 1,800,000. Still at Christie's London.
1.8.
$1,800,000. 1,900,000. 1,900,000 London ahead of you.
1.9. Very
Can't
interesting.
stop now. 2 million. 2 million francs. London.
Now at 2, which means the Richard Mille piece has
For
also
2 million francs.
tied now with the FP Jaune of lot 13, the chronomètre bleu 15,
2.1, Ellie.
the integrated bracelet tantalum piece.
2 million holding in London. With Jean-Francois. You have it.
So Richard Mille and Jean are now tied for the third place for the most expensive watch
2 million
sold
francs.
in this auction, in the
2,100,000.
10th
2 million
edition of Only
At
Watch
2,100,000. Jean-Francois tried 2.2.
2.1. Okay, so maybe Richard Mille will claim the runners-up spot
Yes. 2,200,000.
their Talisman
2,300,000.
2.3.
Thank you.
That has
At
happened.
2.3 million. 2,300,000.
2.3 in Swiss
Like 2.4,
francs.
Remy. Ellie.
I love Elie, by the way. Great guy.
Holding with Jean-Francois now for
Based
2.3 million Swiss francs. 2,300,000.
based in Christie's Geneva. He was one of the two gentlemen touring with these watches that I had the pleasure
2,350,000.
to meet
2,350,000.
in Los
Jean-François
Angeles.
voulait 2,400,000.
Mathieu and Elie were there.
2,400,000. Pour
Lot,
vous, Jean-François.
lot 38 is now being bid at
2.4. 2,380,000, okay? 2,380,000. 2,380,000.
2.4. No, it's been adjusted now to 238.
No more.
2,380,000
2,380,000. L'enchère est à Londres, chez Christie's.
in Swiss francs.
Pour 2,380,000.
A bid from London is leading now. at 2,380,000 in Swiss
Encore, Ellie.
francs for lot 38
2,380,000 francs.
for the Richard Mille
London has it. We'll sell it
Talisman
for
Origine.
2,380,000. Dernier chance, Ellie. 2,380,000. Je la juge.
Last
Selling it now.
chance.
2,380,000.
The piece is
Sold for you
now
in London.
sold
Thank you.
for 2,380,000
And the
Swiss
panel
francs
number is.
to a bidder from London.
840. Thank you. Lot numéro 39 is the Singer reimagined.
Lot 39 is a collaboration between Singer Reimagined and Penis, an 8-track piece.
Lot 39, and we can start at 40,000, 40,000, at 40,000 francs pour 40,000 francs for 40,000 francs. Bidding at 40,000 francs pour 40,000. Vous voulez 50,000?
Very interesting
50,000
piece.
with Alex at 50,000 francs now for 50,000 francs. 55,000 at 55,000 francs. 55,000 for 55. 60,000. Alex has it at 60,000 francs now.
The piece is
For
being bid at 60,000 francs.
65,000. Encore 65,000.
The estimated
At
value of
65,000
it
francs. 70,000. 70,000. At
pre-auction
70,000 francs now.
was set between
70,000
100,000 to
francs.
120,000
Keep going,
in
Matthew.
Swiss francs.
At 70 for 70,000 francs. 75,000. 75,000 at 75,000 francs pour 75,000 francs. 80,000. Alex, you have it for 80, 80,000 at 80,000 francs. 85,000 at 85,000 francs. 90,000. 95,000. 95,000. 100,000. 100,000 francs at 100,000 francs.
Quentin,
For 100 then. The bid is here with Alex. Thank you, Matthew.
I
For
wonder
100,000 francs now. The bid is
I wonder if you heard the name Remy, who is, I think he's based out of
100,000 paddle
Christie's
888.
and
100,000.
that's the person
Lot
working the
numéro 40.
phones, the
Lot
auction
40 now.
expert.
This is the Speak Marine.
We're looking at lot 40 for the Speak Marin. Nearing the end, slowly but surely. This is their integrated
numéro
bracelet
40,
sports
et nous
watch,
commençons à 40 000
Ripples,
à la table,
in
40
a
000 tout de suite. Straight away at 40,000
royal
francs.
blue
For
dial.
40,000 francs. Pour vous mettre pour 40 000 francs. It is here on the table, 40,000 francs. Encore pour 40 000
being
at
bid
40,000 francs. Telephones
at
coming in for
40,000
40,000 francs. Pour 40 000 francs at
Swiss
40,000
francs.
francs. In the room, 40,000, 40 000 at 40,000 francs. Remy, for 40.
with a micro-rotor
at
movement
40,000, 40 000, Julien.
and a distinctive
40,000
off-center
francs.
placement for the small
45,000, thank you,
seconds
45,000
on the
at
dial
45,000 francs now. Remy has it for 45. Julien, would you like more?
at
Pour 45,000 at
130.
45,000 francs. On the telephone
Piece is
for
now
Remy.
being bid at
At 45,
45,000
45,000.
Swiss francs.
Encore pour 45,000 francs. Selling it then for 45,000 francs. 45, je la juge. 45,000.
Seems
À
pretty
juger
fair.
45,000.
Sold
Au
for
numéro 839. Merci, Rémi. Au numéro
45,000
41, this is the
Swiss
Sylvain
francs.
Pinot.
The Speak Marin Ripples Royal Blue Bleu Royal. Lot 41 is a pièce unique of Sylvain Pinot's Origine. Again, one of my favorites in this auction. Sylvain Pinot
Au numéro 41,
won the
commence à
Revelation Award in the Grand Prix
120,000,
d'Horlogerie
120,000.
Genève
Thank you,
2
Matthew, for
years ago.
120,000 francs right away. Pour 120,000 francs.
The bidding
Encore dans la
starts
salle,
at
120,000.
130,000,
130,000, 130,000. At
now already
130,000.
130,000.
150,000, Ellie. At
The piece is being bid at
150,000 francs, 150,000.
150,000,
160,000. Alex
160,000.
has it for 160 now. At 160,000 francs. Encore for 160. 170,000, 170,000 at 170,000.
170,000 now.
180,000 now on my right with Pierre.
180,000.
180,000. Pierre has it for 180. 185,000, 185,000. Pierre voulait 190 000. 190,000. 195,000.
195,000 now.
195,000. Pierre descend.
I think a lot of the results really confirm
195,000 francs.
time and again
200,000. Alex, for you.
Our established common sense now. Quality, time-only pieces from rising and established independent makers.
Hold on this side, selling with Alex's bidder.
Always command a certain value. This segment of the market.
205,000. This is 5,000.
Since they are
for 205,000.
So limited in number, since the allocations can be quite hard to get in the first place, and even when available, these pieces, as you know, usually involve years and years of painful waiting, which can be an exciting part of the process.
Selling it with Alex then.
It is not something that the average collector
215,000
can take easily. So when these kinds of pieces come up on public auction, especially when they have something original to offer, no pun intended here, since we are talking about the Sylvain Pinot Origine, which is being bid at 250,000 Swiss francs.
All done. Selling 220,000. This 5,000.
220,000. I like Ellie's beads there.
220 then.
Good way to stay in the moment.
Selling it now for 220,000 francs. 220.
220,000.
Sold with you, Alex. 802 for 220,000 francs. Lot numéro 42.
Lot 41.
Monaco split seconds.
Pinot Origine just sold for 220,000. Lot 42 is the Tag Heuer Monaco Data their first execution of the split-second chronograph in their iconic square case.
Here we'd like to note that the winning buyer will be invited by Tag Heuer to the Monaco F1 Grand Prix in May 2025.
Again, we have an interesting
50,000, 50,000 at 50,000 francs.
Bundle there. We have a trip to the Monaco Grand Prix in 2025 as a guest of Tag Heuer.
60 is here.
Possibly
70,000, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, 100,000 at
Red Bull as
100,000
well.
francs now.
Hey Ali, how are you doing?
100.
Hey boss.
1,000 francs. Encore pour 100,000.
How you been, man?
100.
I'm alright, man. How you doing?
100,000 francs. Remy coming in.
Did you get any sleep at all?
Maybe like 45 minutes. There's bad weather here, so the tornado alarm's going off all night.
100,000.
Nah.
Nick has it.
It's I don't envy that. I envy a lot about Florida, but not that.
110,000 francs. Encore dans la salle, 110,000.
What do you think about this this piece, the Monaco?
At 110 then. It's on my left with Remy.
I like it. I don't like what Tag's doing with the commercial pricing, and I think that they estimated this one at like 150 to 300.
It's yours, 110,000.
Yeah.
842.
Oh, so it's sold under, yeah.
110. And
so,
do you realize that's actually under the retail pricing that they set for this piece?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I hope they get that message.
I hope they get the message as well. I was a little surprised the letter sold for so little.
Right?
Yeah, especially since the Silver Pinot sold like over twice as much as the estimate.
Yeah. This I know I might get a lot of hate for this, but Lot 43 I think is a very cool piece. I know people have been shitting on the amulet watch from Richard Mille, but I think this is in Tiffany's wheelhouse. The bird on a rock.
This is on brand for Tiffany. This is different.
At 100,000 francs, 100,000 francs. At 100,000, all the way back.
I think, as with many other auctions, 521 Taipei, you can attend for sure.
Encore dans la salle, 100,000 at 100,000 francs. 120,000. Thank you, sir. At 120,000 francs now. Moving on at 120 for 120,000 francs. Bidding in the back, sir.
I do like that
to me.
bird on a post
120,000
design, by the way.
Side. Here it is in the center for 120,000 francs. Not your bid there, for you here.
Or bird on a rock, rather.
Yeah, bird on the rock.
120,000 francs.
Is what they call it. I forget what the bird is. I used to say it was a peregrine falcon, but it's not.
120, holding at 120,000 francs.
And apparently it's been
going 120, your bid, sir.
That has been in their catalog since 1965 as a broche
120 now.
That was created in 1965 by
120,000 francs.
Stromberger.
Bid is here. Last chance in the back for you, sir.
Jean
to me, I can't sell for 120,000 francs. 120,000. Ajouger 120,000.
Wow, that way undersold.
36 for 120,000 francs.
Yeah, the estimated value was set between 350,000 to 500,000.
That had to sting a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's been somewhat of a trend, though, right? Especially the ambitiously set estimated values
and we can start at 50,000.
Have been a source of disappointment since the beginning.
Francs pour 15,000 francs.
Of course, the Patek was an exception. The Jean was an exception. The Recep Recepi was an exception.
15,000 at 15,000 francs. 15,000.
Silver Pinot was an exception. It went over twice.
Say it again.
The Silver Pinot was an exception as well. It went over twice.
Yeah, but again, that was set like a little above the retail price of an origin anyway, right? It was a realistic estimate.
Oh, I see what you mean when you say exception. I got it. I misunderstood.
Francs on the telephone bank.
But no, you're right.
16,000.
Like Crayon also did really well compared to its estimate. But again, it was
that was such a nice watch.
Yeah.
New bid in the room now for 17.
That was a very nice
17,000 francs.
I mean, the concept I already love for the Crayon anyway.
New bidder in the room is not yours on the telephone. Bid is here for 17,000. Encore dans la salle pour
okay, this is the Trio, which is a brand that I don't quite understand.
All done, 17,000. Adjugé, merci Luc, 17,000 francs. And we will find
17,000. This is also
low numero
a disappointment because the estimated value was set between 25,000 to 35,000. So for 17, this could be interesting. What do you think about this? The Corvette that looks like a lightsaber.
Well, I like the. I actually like the design aesthetic. I have a clock, or I used to have a clock.
That looks similar.
Old style, but it's similar to that.
Nice.
À la table pour 50,000 francs, 50,000.
This is lot 45.
60,000,
space-time blade.
65,000, here it is. At 65,000.
Wait, why they start it at higher than the estimate?
65 with you, sir. At 65,000.
It depends.
Francs.
Sometimes it's well under, as we have noticed. Sometimes they have
francs. This side of the room for 65.
bids that have been made in advance.
65,000 francs.
Oh, and the bid that's advanced is the base bid then?
Yeah,
65,000 francs.
That's where it starts. And sometimes, they have this trick called the chandelier,
at
bid,
65.
like, pulling out of
Bidding in
thin
London
air.
for
Yeah.
65,000
But
francs.
I'm
Bid it
guessing here
selling it up front in the middle
it
for
was pretty
65,000 francs.
pretty realistic.
Sold for you, sir. Number 42
65,000
for
francs.
Right in the middle of the
65,000.
estimate.
Yeah. Right, dab smack in the
Lot
middle of
numéro
the estimate
45.
for
This is
lot
the beautiful
45,
Voutilainen.
Uhrwerk space-time blades. The last two lots, basically. Lot 46 is Kali Voutilainen's new cushion-shaped world timer, made for Only Watch, with this pine green hand-guilloché dial.
Voutilainen, lot numéro 46.
I'm gonna have to get on
And we
the
start
phone here in a
at
second and wake up
140,000
REG
at
because his lot's coming out last.
140,000,
The
140,000
Zenith
at
lot.
140, l'onchette ici pour vous
Oh
mettre
my
140. At 140, 150,000, 160,000, 160,000, 170, 180, 180,000,
All right.
190,000, 200,000, 200,000,
All right.
220,000, 220,000. At
We
220,000
are
francs, young
already
ladies bid in the room for
above
300,000
the
francs.
ceiling of the
300,000.
estimate.
At
Way above now.
300,000 francs now.
Yeah, which
With
was
Remy
set
pour
at
300,000.
215.
At 300,000 francs.
Now
Remy
the
has it
bidding
for
stands
300.
at 300,000.
At 300,000
Swiss
francs. Keep
francs.
going, madam. At 300,000 francs now. Remy, your telephone, your bid. At 300,000 francs. All done for 300,000. Last chance in the room here for 300,000 francs. No more.
300,000.
300,000 then. Selling on the telephone. 300,000, je la juge. 320,000.
320.
That hammer
Big time,
just
Remy.
dropped in his
At
hand.
320,000. 350,000 to Remy G.
350.
At 350,000
Remy-
francs.
Remy
350,000
G.
francs. Remy Dubai, it's not yours. At 350,000 francs.
350,000.
For 350. 380,000, 380,000. Remy Dubai has
380.
it now.
Yeah, Quentin, they usually don't address
400 for Remy Geneva.
bidders
At
in the
400,000
room
francs. 400,000.
by their own names.
At 400,000 francs.
They might address them by the paddle number, but they usually don't mention proper names. I'm guessing privacy is usually an issue,
400,000 francs.
but doesn't
Remy
have to
Dubai,
be.
420,000.
Anyway, but that's not part of the convention, so to speak.
420,000.
So when
220 with Remy
you
Dubai.
hear proper names in these sorts of auction settings, it is
450,000.
usually the auctioneer
Geneva's bid
addressing his
at
own colleagues
450,000
who are
francs.
working the phones.
450,000.
So this is the
No more
Kari
for Remy Dubai.
Voutilainen
Thank you for all the bids.
piece,
450 then. Here it is.
the cushion
Remy
shaped
Geneva
work
has the lot.
timer,
All done this side in the room.
CSW.
450,000, je la juge. 450 then. Now selling
It is
450,000.
sold for
Nice.
Sold for you, Remy. Pardon,
450,000.
800
Nice.
and
Very,
39.
I think that's very
450,000.
successful for Voutilainen. Again,
And the last lot of Only Watch 10.
Peter Mambeda,
Numéro 47.
Offre did really well.
This is by Zenith.
Silvantino did really well. Atelier de Chronometrie did really well again, according to their own estimates. This is, I cannot tell you enough how much I hate this lot. Like, to me, it's everything that has been wrong with Zenith for
Here
the
we are, the
longest time.
Chronomaster Sport.
You're not wrong. I
Set
just
of
hope that
4, the
REG
colours
appears out of
Only
nowhere.
Watch, especially for the 10th edition. Where shall we start? 25,000?
Because, it
25,000 in the
basically,
room, 30,000.
I
There
mean,
it
the
is,
Chronomaster
35,000.
Sport has
At
already
35,
been
40,000,
criticized so many
45,000,
times for
50,000.
being
At
roughly a
50,000
Daytona
francs now,
clone,
Matthew has
right?
it. 55,000
Um,
at 55. Thank you, sir.
For them to
55,000 is here.
prepare a
At
4-piece set
55,000 francs. Front row left.
and
Your bid, sir,
replicate
with the hat.
the
At
exact colors
55,000 francs.
of the Daytona
For
Beach
55,000
collection,
francs to my left.
I think
At
it's
55,
it's like too
100,000
much.
now.
I mean, they're going
At
too far,
100,000.
even with their own
For
shtick of
100,000
copying.
francs. Thank you, Matthew. At 100,000. Here it is, 100,000 bidding right. 100,000 francs au téléphone.
That's a
For
decent.
If the bidder was from Canada, it's REG.
110,000.
Did it say Canada
110 000 now
No,
or California?
with Kim at
no,
110.
I think it was Dubai. I don't think I was just messing around because REG we make fun of him as being
No
a
more this
Zenith guy.
side. For 110 then, Remy, bid is right with
This is
Kim.
doing well for its own category.
110,000 110
I mean, the estimated value of the piece
Yeah.
was
Last chance
the
55,000
for the
or
last
was
lot
45,000 to 55. Yeah.
at 110,000 francs at only watch 10. 110
110.
sold with you. Panel
Sold.
number 886.
So, oh, that's Kim. Who's the one to her right?
I was also
Ladies and
curious.
gentlemen,
I don't
thank you
know.
very much for being with us here
Well, I
today.
I
think
don't
it
know.
was
Like
her
I said,
earlier
please be
that was
seated
having
for
trouble
just
with her phone, and
another
they caught
minute
her on
so that
camera,
Luke can come and tell
like
you how much money you
shaking
raised.
her
Only
phone and like screaming into her phone, and so she couldn't hear what was going on. Something like that was happening, and
Oh, yeah.
oh no, that wasn't her. It was an older woman. She was freaking out trying to get a bid in, and it was really funny.
Memovox, I agree. I agree that the new triple date chronograph is a great watch, and I've also liked earlier renditions of that concept by Zenit 2, and it's probably one of the better deals you can get on the market if you can find a Zenit triple date chronograph from around the turn of the millennium, so to speak, from around year 2000. I've seen so many great examples of that right under $5,000, which is a lot of watch for that money in today's landscape. And the case design is beautiful with what kind of like a um, stepped lock design. Let me see if I can find that.
You're not talking about that. The triple date wasn't released to Watches and Wonders, was it? No, you're not talking about that.
Yeah,
They
I
released
think
those two divers, right?
no, they did reveal it. I think right before, because I don't think the LVMH brands participate in Watches and Wonders, but they do their um,
Well, they weren't
they
the
do
Beau Rivage or something like that, but they do their
LVMH.
releases.
Yeah,
I don't remember the triple date.
they do the LVMH Watch Week. Let me pull it up.
I just remember the two dive watches, and I was kind of turned off.
So here's the piece.
28 million Swiss franc. Yeah, that got drowned out. That is actually kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's very cool actually. It's um, I'll go right back, but the one I meant was also an earlier version, which has a much more classic design rather than the sporty execution of this one. These can be, I think, still picked up for a song, and I really like them. This is the Chronomaster El Primero triple calendar. Let me see. Is there? Yeah, the live has ended as well. So what do you think? What do you think so far, Ali, from the results? Anything that surprised you? Anything that frustrated you?
No, the only actual, I guess there were multiple small surprises, but the only big surprise to me was that the letter went so low.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm glad to see in the situation when things go higher than they should. I don't think anything went obscenely high. I don't consider 100% necessarily obscenely high. There was nothing that went for 300-400% over estimates.
Well, I mean,
Um,
the Patek maybe you can say went
no,
obscenely.
it was still only about 150% over estimate, right? Hold on.
The estimate was yes, 1.5 to 1.8, but it went for 10 times that basically.
Yes, it was that low. Why did I think it was 4 to 5?
I think you would be right to have that gut feeling because
Oh
they
yeah, look at how.
previously
Okay, yeah, no.
they
Well, good on
previously
Patek again.
yeah, because also that the 5016A that was sold, I think, what was it in 2017? Anyway, in a previous edition of Only Watch, and supposedly it was Brad Pitt who bought it. That sold for 7 million, 7.25 million, basically, and that was the previous record at Only Watch, and this more than doubled it. So I think that was still a big surprise, even though people were obviously expecting the Patek to sell for uh, that to be the most expensive watch.
So there's some nice pieces. I am so AP, and there were only 2 watches missing at the end, right?
Tudor didn't come back.
Yeah,
AP
AP
didn't
and
come back.
Tudor.
Well, Ali, it's interesting you would put it that way, right? Not that, again, I'm not trying to stir up controversy for no reason, but it's really the two biggest brands, Audemars Piguet and Rolex. Like Patek stayed, yes, Jean stayed, but those two pulled out and didn't come back for this edition. That doesn't necessarily preclude them from returning to Only Watch at a later date, but I think those are significant absences, no?
Yeah, but I thought AP, they are significant absences. AP hasn't commented. I don't know if Tudor has. But I was under the understanding that AP had a private buyer because they just thought it wasn't going to happen till 2025, and they had a private buyer make them, I don't know what you'd say, an offer they can't refuse. Uh, so Tudor, I don't know what their situation was with it. I would have liked to have seen, even though the AP wasn't even remotely close to my favorite. AP's being my favorite mark, but this particular watch wasn't my favorite
Yeah.
of Only Watch. I would have still liked to have seen it happen. Peruka, dude, I need all sorts of things. Rust is definitely one of them.
Well, I mean, you're right. You're right. Anything that we say right now would be speculation because, like you said, I mean, Patek changed, and at the end ended up presenting a much more impressive and much more unique piece, which outperformed anything and everything that came before. Konstantin Chaikin also changed, ended up being a much less impressive
Yeah, yeah.
piece because the previous one was, in fact, the most complicated of the selection, with all sorts of astronomical complications. This one was basically a special edition of the Joker watch, which is a crowd pleaser on the one hand, and which has exhausted so many others on the other. So it's quite divisive, I understand. So you're right. Some brands that didn't come back may have privately sold those watches, and maybe that's the only reason, and they didn't want to contribute something, at random and wait for the next one.
Like one of the small examples of that is that Reservoir was willing to sell their watch privately.
Uh-huh.
They literally left it up on the website. They were willing to sell it privately, and if they had, they just would have pulled out of the auction. So I think other marks probably had more. I mean, they obviously have more prestigious offerings. Whole Milk, Whole Milk says, "Oh, we might be juicing the auction result." I think they've been known to do that at other auctions, and this would be a place that you could certainly do it and kind of justify it on the books if you did it. I don't think they did, though.
Yeah, look, I mean okay, I have the original catalog now, and it was well within reach, so I didn't have to toil so much.
You've also handled every one of the originals. Damn
Basically,
near close, yeah. Almost all the originals.
but yeah, there are more missing pieces when you think about it. But again, they're all pieces that may have been sold privately. I mean, the Anderson Genève, the jump hour piece with the onyx, no, sorry, the jade dial, the black jade dial, that one didn't come back. Um, let me see what else. The Arminstrom, gravity equal force, that didn't come back. Um, but again, all these are the usual suspects, right? Which could have sold
Yeah,
privately, as
too.
you mentioned. The AP didn't come back.
Yeah.
And like you said, it may have been sold privately because someone came up with an offer that they couldn't refuse.
There's also other things going on at AP, obviously. For whatever reason, they've been quietly delaying the AP House Miami too. So there's other things going on with the brand. Oh man,
the Biver didn't sell,
that
right?
was such a cool
Didn't come
watch
back.
too.
Yeah, it didn't come back. Um,
Jay Gray's sweater. It said, I think it was a little over 23 or almost 24 million Swiss franc.
yeah,
Which like 37% of that was the Patek. 521
it's
Taipei, according to the audit, 100% of the proceeds go to the charity that then disperse it. And it was pretty damn close to 100%. It was like 99.3 or 99.6% that it
by the
was.
way, not 33%. The Patek sold for almost 16 million in Swiss
Oh god,
francs.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
60%.
more than half.
Yeah, more than half.
More than half of that was the Patek. This didn't come back. I mean, not that we care much, I guess, but there was a Boucheron
I
jewelry
don't even
one that
remember that one.
come back.
Thank goodness that one didn't come back. They did publish the audit 521 Taipei. You can go take a look at it. The audit, if you've read those type of audits, was not. I expect some people are going to have some serious complaints about it.
Okay,
But
so the um, the Bukhara piece also didn't come back, and that's a pattern between Tudor and Bukhara. I think that may be intentional that Rolex didn't come back.
it
But what
has
were
to
you
be
saying
intentional.
about?
But they also have so many additional outlets they could do, and probably higher profile outlets they could do the equivalent with.
Yeah, what were you saying about their audits?
The audits are, they did the audits, and on the surface everything looks perfectly kosher. They complied with
Yeah,
the rules and regulations they're supposed to. But if you've read those type of audits before, I'm sure people are going to have complaints. Um, because they audited very much so just the atomic point in time as opposed to the history.
right.
Uh, I for one am one of the people who think that the situation was overblown in the first place, because having dealt with really large charities in the United States, I understand why you have certain people run charities. It's for their Rolodex, right? There's a reason why charities have billionaire CEOs that also, are the president of the charities, because they can call everybody they want to get many, many millions of dollars of donations in in one 15-minute phone call. Um, or one 15-minute group call, like a Zoom with a bunch of their millionaire and billionaire friends. So there's a reason for it, but I'm sure that people will not be happy with the audit. Um,
They
I
were
am
not.
happy.
They were
I
not.
am happy the auction did move forward though.
I mean, I'm gonna do a short video just to recap right after this. But for me, and some might consider this somewhat cynical. I mean, I'm still a skeptic, but I just don't take it too seriously as a charity auction anymore. For me, it's an event that happens every 2 years, and there's some interesting watches, some great pieces, some humdrum, executions of what's already there with a, hype dial color. It's just another event where we take, the temperature of the industry and have a little fun doing it at this point. Because most of the long-standing skeptics, I think, remain pretty steadfast in their skepticism, which is to say, one, that the explicit statements of the charity for searching for a cure is, if not disingenuous, certainly a little misleading, because they are mostly so far working on palliatives, and that's not apparently so groundbreaking. And the idea that if a cure is in fact discovered, and the patent somehow sold, people are simply wondering, where that money will go, and whether it will simply enrich, mostly the Petavino family that holds most of the stake in the companies that have emerged out of the foundation. Those are just some of the things that are still kept in focus. Again, I don't feel particularly qualified to comment on any of that, but for the most part, I just think that as an auction in and of itself, without necessarily foregrounding that whole aspect of charity, it's already quite interesting. So I don't feel obliged to scrutinize it every time it comes up. I mean, I'm happy to bring in people again to make their case for or against it, but that's where I stand basically.
I think I'm fairly closely aligned with you in that regard. I don't consider this like a traditional charity type situation. My again, having experience. So if you, and I think you're aware of this because you deal with executives. If you've been an executive or helped with various VC funds in the United States, you will often be asked to sit on the board of a charity, and that's part of the promotion process almost, right? Uh,
That's true.
so it is not uncommon, at least in my experience, again, charities, you know, to be founded by or to be heavily involved, in this case, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, by families that have been affected. And a lot of those type of charities, if you have a very wealthy family that's been affected, that's the first time that charity gets any attention at all. Right. So one of the questions that I asked the skeptics are, before this happened, before any money went into this, where was the money? Was there any money? And the audit clearly says no. Right. So it's like does that mean that um uh does that mean that Pedadino's family handled it well, or did they help certain victims that arguably they should have helped? No. Were they set up to do so? That wasn't what their interest was. Should have they been set up to do so? Probably. Right? But then where would have AMM, which is the holding, I don't want to call it a trust because it's not technically a trust, but where does AMM put the money if there is no other people actually working on DMD therapeutics, right? That then becomes a question that they just held onto the money perpetually as well. It's an ugly. It was an ugly business. I think that it should have been. I firmly believe it should have been handled differently. Here let's and not being, and that's just with my limited experience. But here's something
Mhm.
off the wall. Have you talked to Jose since it was reannounced that it would come back?
Behind the scenes, I did, but nothing really extensive.
Have you
Um,
asked him if he thinks that I mean, I'm going to call them hit pieces, although I'm going to say that at least the evidence presented, some of it's compelling. Do you think that people are publishing hit pieces against him on Rolex forums and whatnot now? about some of
Against
his articles,
Jose?
about potential inaccuracies in some of his prior work.
I think people have always been scrutinizing him. I don't think the Only Watch debacle necessarily brought him added undue attention. I think he
Well, they've
pisses off
always
enough
criticized him.
people on a he pisses off enough people on a regular basis, from the auction houses to the major brands, that he has enough enemies already. But since the debacle, one of his Instagram accounts was temporarily taken down.
Yeah.
It has then been reinstated. So I think there's
Let me be more specific. He's always been somewhat controversial, right? But
Yes.
going after Zodiac was not necessarily controversial. But the Blancpain, suddenly out of nowhere in the past few weeks, the Blancpain articles have come back up on the Rolex forums and a couple other places, like, ferociously, right? And
Yeah.
frankly, and I think I put it in the chat, it's compelling. Like, what some people are saying are compelling. Like, I would like to see him respond, because there's a trail there that would suggest that, when he does these updates. So he's very good about update date. He adds an update to his blog post anytime there's new bits of data. It's very compelling that people communicated to him, and he just neglected to include it because it went against his narrative. And I was curious because there's no reason for the topic to come back up. Certainly not heavy, hot and heavy on Rolex forums. I literally read them thinking to myself, did he piss off enough people that, like, there was a campaign to resurrect these issues going up to Only Watch just to keep him distracted from maybe torpedoing it again? Although I don't think he could have torpedoed again.
I think, also Jose, by the way, did participate in that camp of skeptics, but I wouldn't say it was necessarily leading it. I mean, vis-a-vis Only Watch, Santa Laura, the collector,
Yeah, but Santa Laura
was
kept
kind
head
of
down.
spearheading the whole thing, and Jose was supplying other parts, other aspects of the narrative that have, that he personally had experience with. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't, honestly. I think you are connecting the dots there, and there might be some sort of connection, but I'm not sure if there is a grand conspiracy necessarily
No,
related
I mean,
to
like I said,
Only
it's
Watch
conspiracy.
coming
It's
back.
like complete tinfoil. But I was curious. The timing seemed really, really interesting.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah, for me, I think it's just part of the general ebb and flow. Like you said, usually Jose publishes something, and I genuinely
Sorry, I'm laughing. Memovox's comment is funny.
did Jose ever research the Rolex Blueberry myth? That would make him really popular. Yeah, I don't think he has written anything extensive on that. Maybe I'll look into it. But what I was saying is, I do respect his mode of research. He usually is quite rigorous before he publishes something. And like you said, that doesn't mean he's unbending, right? When there's legitimate criticism and when something needs to be updated, revised, corrected, he does all of that as well. But that doesn't mean that he's always right, and that doesn't mean he doesn't have his own prejudices and predilections, like we all do, right?
Yeah,
In
fair
fact,
enough. I like his work. I'd like to see him respond to, because I've always respected the fact that he is, at least in the stream of his consciousness, admitted when he needed to make corrections and whatnot. So if it does turn out to be true that he was given, like, information that should have been corrections, and he basically not only blew it off but potentially misframed them, then that shows a certain level of hubris and bias that I'm not a huge fan of. I have a question that's auction related for you. Do you mind
Sure.
pulling up my screen? So Every Watch, which is you're obviously very familiar with them. This throws me for a loop. Average unsold rate. What the hell is happening at a Nikon?
I think their business model is a little different from the major houses listed there, right? I will be very honest with you, I'm not very familiar with Veronique or watch collecting auctions. But I think it's a little unfair to compare them to, Bonham, Sotheby's, Christie's, Art Curio, Phillips, etc. I think they're much more interested in volume, right? They take essentially they take a lot of they're like a dealer, they do use the auction model. They take a lot of things on consignment.
That's what I'm wondering. Are they mixing up auction with the fact that they offer consignment? That
Basically,
must be what this is.
yeah.
Because that's insane to me.
Yeah, that's that. I think that's you can say that's a mistake on their part. I think that can be a legitimate criticism of In Eichen. And I'm not in their books, so I don't know. But if it works for them financially, because they do keep turning over watches in quick succession, they have an auction every other week now.
Yeah, every 10 days.
It seems to be working for them, but this just doesn't look good on paper. It doesn't look good on paper. I think they should probably do make certain updates, maybe, or modifications with their customer relations model. Maybe they should put their foot down a little more often, negotiate something different with the sellers than simply bending over backwards to accommodate their sometimes unrealistic expectations for the reserve prices, because sometimes they are just obscenely high in the current state of the market.
Yeah, no, sometimes they are obscenely high, but I have seen some tremendous deals on a Nikon as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So anyway, dude, this was fantastic coverage. I was really confused. It's like 5 a.m. for me or something when I saw that you were going to be doing this, and in my head, I haven't slept much for like a week and a half. In my head, I thought you were going to be there. I'm like, holy shit! I posted it to like JJ's group and stuff. I'm like, I think Lauren's going to be there.
would have been nice, but I have some great benefactors, I have to say, and I would include you on that group. But for something to happen like that on quick notice, I think someone had to fly me there, and that didn't happen. But I had someone who was very encouraging and generous behind the scenes that allowed me to do this live stream. I would look, I mean, it's beyond that. I would love to do earlier streams like this, and even this early. That was 5 a.m. for me when we started the live stream. But I don't think I will always have 15, 30. We had on average 25 to 30.
Yeah, and there was a good crew. There were a lot of good names in the chat
for me, which is quite decent for me. If I always have that, that's great. You guys know it's I'm now full time here. I still have some loose ends to tie up with my professional situation until the last week of this month. But after that, there are certainly going to be like noon streams, noon my time. Maybe I should try to pull that a little earlier. I don't know. I think I will settle with a certain time, so there will be at least twice or 3 times a week
No, dude,
something
noon. Okay,
UK?
so 3 Eastern. That might be a really good time for you actually, because so the European crew in particular, there's
Yeah,
there's a repeated gap for them. If they want watch talk, if they want drama talk, then sometimes the dungeon is on, right?
yeah.
Uh, the colony has started to pick up a little bit of steam, but that might be a really good time for you.
What's the colony?
Oh dear God. Um, so Tim Wright's channel, Tim basically alienated a huge majority of his panelists and supporters.
What a surprise.
Yeah, like we haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
And Merica went and started a channel called The Colony, and he's over there with Luchabetic Mark, Diego, OC is over there as well,
Okay.
Buckley and other folks, and they are doing more regular streams, uh, and just watch talk without a Sheen O'Malley or Artem's antics per se. Um,
Mm.
so they've got that going on. Oh, you didn't even hear that you've been involved in a rumor of going to London then, because you stay out of it. Oh,
I'm
this is
completely out of
fantastic.
it.
So
I really don't care. I mean,
the London Watch Show, though, that's coming up, right? The one that BQ watches the time.
right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so Jamie Opulence, uh,
Uh-huh.
he rented out D invited Archie as like one of the VIP guests, and Jamie Opulence rented out a house, like a very large house. It's 7 bedrooms or 9 bedrooms or something. And so Archie's going, Lux is going, Patel Philippe is going,
Yeah.
Mental Jock, Magpie, Gary, Gary, who's in your audience quite often as well. A lot of those guys are going. Some bringing their wives,
Okay.
and there's a mystery guest that they have not revealed. That Jamie just won't reveal it. So each day he dropped a clue, but the very first clue was a former Archie panelist that was very controversial and is like a horological juggernaut. And the first freaking answer out of everybody's mouth was Lord. Right? And then he had to clarify that the person doesn't have their own channel, right? Which then narrows it down quite a bit. But I thought that was funny as hell because I was just picturing in my head, could I imagine Archie showing up and young Brando being there?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's I wouldn't rule it out in perpetuity, uh, but trust that my relationship with certain people who have been horrible to me personally and professionally in the past cannot be simply mended by technically buying me out. Like I can't be bribed to collaborate with the likes of Archie Luxury or Tim Wright and whoever else, right? They're not gonna bring me into the fold with a trip to London or Geneva
No,
or
no, I just thought it was funny as
whatever
hell.
else.
Marcelo's going to be there too. So even without you, that house is going to be complete chaos.
I mean, that precludes me already, right? I would never ever participate in anything that involves Marcelo as an intentional guest. Like if someone actually arranges that guy to arrive anywhere, um, count me out already. Because that to me tells everything I need to know about that organization. I mean, you know, if anyone takes Marcelo seriously, by definition, I
I
refuse
think
to take
that's why
them
he's not.
seriously.
Well, he wasn't invited by London Watch Show. I'm saying, but I think that's why people are sponsoring him to go is because they don't take him seriously. It will be funny. It's a whole. I mean, the whole thing is meant to be like a Gonzo joke, right?
Sure.
Um. So anyway, I thought that would be it was if you wouldn't have heard the news, but it was pretty funny that you were one of the first people everybody were like that would be amazing, and it would have been hilarious because they were planning all sorts of different like challenges. So you bribe young Brando with a trip to Bora Bora.
They- I think I would sell my soul still for any iteration of Royal Oak Jumbo. I think that's if the if the devil comes in the form of a poodle to offer me a deal, and that offer includes a Royal Oak Jumbo.
Any iteration or the 15202?
Well, I mean, I would settle for 16202, but I would much prefer 15202 or 5402 A series. I wouldn't say no to that.
5402. Oh, there we go.
But you know what? I think, look, people have in many ways, perceived me as a vintage guy, and I'm, in many ways I am, but I find myself, for the most part, in most of my decisions, when it comes to my personal collection, I find myself very comfortably settling into that neo vintage zone, right? Where you have a lot of these features, designs, elements that take after a vintage aesthetic, that take after kind of these iconic designs and production methods that predate the 21st century, but really in versions that have some elements of the modern. So 15202 actually, in that little gap they have right around the 40th anniversary, where you have the dial, the Petit Tapisserie dial with the logo at 6 o'clock that mimes the original. You still have the caliber 2121, the JLC 920 based movement. But now, and this is what makes it a little more interesting to me, you have an exhibition case back, right? Which is not something that I have in my collection widely, but it's something that intrigues me even when the decoration might not be the most artistic, right? So I find that's something that 15202 has for me as a personal appeal. Something on the 5402, the 15202 has the exhibition case back. So even if it's slightly thicker, I like that. And for until 2013, I think, until the end of that series, they still had the front loading case, the monoblock case.
Yep.
So I think that would be a sweet spot for me. Again, I would
Dude,
love
that's a hell of a sweet spot.
5402,
So,
but I think that's an amazing piece. And I'm not talking about an allocation, but yes, if somebody wants to buy my soul, my body may be included in that deal as well. I think I would settle for a jumbo. I can be bought, but not with a trip to London, Geneva, or even Bora Bora. I think people gotta try harder.
well, my friend, let me congratulate you. I know May was your kind of cutoff date. It was your goal to be full time here, and
Yes.
congratulations for getting there. I know you said you got some loose ends to tie up. I hope those tie up nice and tight for you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if I'll see you later in the year at say Watch Time New York, but I do hope to see you at some point this year. Hopefully I'll be able to start traveling soon as well.
Nice.
And well, traveling by airfare. I can drive anywhere now, but
When is Watch
altitude
Time
is
New York? That might
October like 18th, 19th.
okay. That's realistic. Actually, I won't commit to it now, but I would. I can probably make that trip.
It would be great to see you out there. A lot of people that we like and don't like will be there, but it's a peaceful place.
No, again,
So
that as long as I'm not part of someone else's shtick, the world is the
yeah,
world
yeah,
is large
exactly.
enough for all of us to inhabit. Look, I mean, I don't
Well, I'm
have,
pretty fat. I'm not sure if so.
I don't have, I don't have hate campaigns against anyone, even though some have been directed at me in the past. So,
Yeah, no.
I
It's
don't
it
mind
it it
other,
was
but
last year. last year, the big dinner that pulled together with JJ had people from all the camps. It was very peaceful, and then the people that didn't want to participate just didn't, and they got together with each other separately, right? So,
Yeah.
But congratulations. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you
you
for
so
having
much.
this stream, even though it caught me completely off guard. And
Thank
always
you.
thank you to the punters, the people who super chatted.
Well, thank you for participating. Thank you for encouraging. Thank you for those 10 gift memberships. I really appreciate you for that, and thank you for being on the panel. Thank you also, Patel Philippe 10, for being a member, Turtle Knights, Memovox, and John D for their generous super chats. I think, let me see if, and thank you, Whole Milk. Thank you for the congrats. Let's see who was lucky enough to pick up those memberships. Piruka, Swiss, JBJB, Jake Brooks, Aces Fool, Billy Jeans, Dr. Bob's Nightmare, Robert Cairns, Goldfinger 0808, Sam Davidson, and Marine Layer. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you again for being with us. This was a coverage live of the 10th edition of Only Watch, where they broke a genuine record with the Patek Philippe 6301 in stainless steel, the Grande et Petite Sonnerie, that sold for almost 16 million Swiss francs. That was an absolute record for Only Watch, and a top 4 result of all time. And as people expected, the Recep Recepi and FP Jaune also performed really well as the Richard Mille Amulet watch. And there were some disappointments in the way. Feel free to roll back the tape and see how things unfolded in real time. I will post a video for the recap for my favorites and how they fared in the auction, hopefully later today. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, wear and enjoy your watches. Take care, guys. Goodbye.